All right. All right. How are we doing? Good. What's a YouTuber catchphrase I can use to greet you with? Good mythical morning. I don't know, whatever the kids say. Good skibbity morning. How are we doing? That's going to be it now. That's going to be it. Good skibbity. That's how in 15 years when Gen Alpha grows up, that is going to be a formal business greeting in emails, or not emails because that's not going to exist. It's going to be you got your business partners on Snapchat, and you're going to be messaging them good skibbity morning, following up on my last message. That's how it's going to be. Hey, Luca. Doing okay? Oh, that's great news. I'm glad to hear it. What about me? Not so good, actually, unfortunately. I have some terrible news. Um, some guy says, I forgot I had this on. Did I just jump scare you? Did I just... Ooh. That's hilarious. Well, now I'm feeling a bit better. I was able to spook someone today. That's great. Yeah, I have not been so good. I don't know how or what happened, but I think I must have ate something funny over the weekend, and I've had like food poisoning for the last like 4 days. So I've only had about 2 afternoons this week to do anything. So I don't have a lot of cool, epic progress to show this time. But I've been planting some seeds, okay, that will flourish into great things in the future. And I've got, I guess I can show bits and pieces. And I guess I don't know, I guess I'm more interested in being of service to you this week, rather than telling you all the cool things I've been doing, like being sick, which is so fun. What happened? I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I ate something, and then like a few hours later, I started to feel like feverish. And I was like, this better not be freaking COVID all over again. But I didn't have a sore throat, so I was like, all right, well, this is not COVID, so I should be fine. But then I like all my joints were aching like crazy. I couldn't really sit down or walk or anything. And well, then the other symptoms of food poisoning started showing up, and I won't describe those, but it's not fun. It's really not fun. It's really frustrating too, because it's like, it means it's that reminder that you're in a human body and you aren't just a brain in a tank that can work all the time. And I hate that, because I love working. Okay, that's what I want to do. I know that every liberal, art person hates work. I hate working. I just want to do what I want. But no, I love working. Okay, what I work on is what I love, and I want to work all the time. But I have a human body which sometimes it isn't designed to work all the time. It's designed to get food poisoning. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'll show you guys some stuff. Hey, we got one guy in Twitch chat now. I don't know what's been going on, like, because I've been simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube now for the last 6 months. But Twitch numbers are awful. I don't know what goes on here now. It's like, thanks to the 2 people that are there, though. I appreciate that. But it's like, I just do not understand this platform. Like, I've been trying so hard. It's like, well, if I'm on both, it'll be good. It'll be better if I'm on both platforms. But I just don't understand how this works anymore, this Twitch TV. I don't understand it. So anyway, I won't rant about. I have a lot to say about social media on this particular week, but we'll get into that a bit later. So I have tried to make some progress still on the site. It is taking a bit longer than I was hoping it would, mainly because I couldn't figure out how to get that script working. So I've been manually fixing links and stuff, and I've also been doing a bit of styling with galleries and views and such. So that works now, which is actually pretty nice, where if you go to any of these pages, it'll actually show you this cool little gallery of stuff instead of a dot point list, which is pretty neat. So if I go to this list, this is in Hugo, a default list page just looks like this, where it has dot points. But this is also a list of dot points, but they all have thumbnails on them and they're all styled. So I've got that working, and it's dynamic as well. So if I do get rid of the HTML or the CSS, you can see that it is just image, dot point image with text underneath. And that's it, really. Like, it's quite simple when you take off the styling, but when you put it back on, it's like, whoa, this is cool. Now, don't be fooled. The dates here are not entirely correct, because it automatically puts a date under each of these items, and it's listed Project Feline as June 4th. And as you will know, it's been well past June 4th, and it's not out, obviously. And all of these, I think, are just going to say June 4th, because that's when I made the folder for this. So I got to figure out a way to make this TBA somehow, or to get rid of the dates. Because, yeah, I'm far from ready. I'm far from, ready to have all that in place yet. And yeah, it also has all of the I need images for these still, but all the subfolders of stuff, like characters, it's got so I can have my character screen here with portraits of each of the characters. I didn't even intend for this to work, but it is actually showing them. I just don't have images yet. So it's so considering I only had like 2 afternoons to work on this, it's starting to shape up a lot more now, and I'm really happy about, because this is going to be so cool. I really can't wait so that you guys can start browsing this. It's going to be so great. Jesse said, from the moment I knew the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. That is so true. That's so true. Mr. Toast, hello. Just found your channel. Your game looks really cool. Thank you so much. Please make sure to wishlist it on Steam. That helps me a great deal. Because the more wishlist the game has, the more it tells me that, oh, people actually want to play this thing. I bet that's cool. And it might actually, if enough people get told about it when it comes out, it means I might be able to afford to make more, which would be awesome. Some guy says, one Twitch guy's not me. No, it isn't. It's some guy called Zombie. Hi, Zombie. They see me rolling. I do see you rolling. That is a really cute cat gif there. How do you post cat gifs in Twitch chat? Dude, that's so cool. See, this is why I don't understand Twitch, because the chat features are technically better. You can post cat gifs. You can't do that on YouTube. So I don't know. Rice Awake says, how many wish lists are there now? I haven't checked in a while, but the last time I checked, it was like pretty okay. I think it was like 30,000. Yeah, I think it was like 30,000, I want to say. Now, whether that is enough, who knows? Every marketing guru I listen to always has some different answer of how many is good enough. A lot of them say 7,000. It's like, oh, if you have 7,000 wish lists, you're going to be a millionaire. And I don't believe a word of that. I think that's garbage. It's like, no, 7,000 doesn't seem like nearly enough. Unless the game is like $1,000, which no, isn't it? No way. So I don't know. My good enough will be if we get into like the top 100. That'd be something. I think that will be good enough. I think we're in the top 1,000 though, that's something. But considering that the wish lists are based on the current version of the game, not the current. That isn't quite right. But considering that the trailer that I've got is this old 2-year-old trailer with the old model and the old levels, considering that it's gotten like 30,000 with me only having made a few videos the last year, and this is the trailer, I have very high hopes, because this doesn't even show the actual new gameplay that's even better. I've tried to put it in the screenshots here, but even this level looks completely different now. So and this is in the future, because I've been doing lots of progress lately that isn't on this directly, but in part of my master plan, there is a part that comes after this stuff, once I get everything sort of up to speed, where there will be a trailer made that is actually going to be good, and not like some rushed trailer like this. Like I've also been just in my spare time studying trailers. I don't know, maybe we can talk about some of that this week, I guess, because Making a good trailer is actually not as simple as just recording footage. You got to be extremely deliberate. So imagine how much better this would be doing if I had like the more finalized screenshots with the actual levels, with footage that didn't have this lame combat in it. Did you guys see that? We got the lame combat, the kick combat that like is unfun. Like, this is really not representative of how good the game is now. And this is good enough for 30,000 wishlists. So it's like, all right, well, if I get my final form, if I put the final form in, how much better would that do, right? But it takes time. That's the thing. It's not one of those things you could immediately just... I don't want to get as many wish lists as possible immediately now, because anything with an immediate... I've noticed anything with an immediate result is always bad. Just about. So it's about slowly and healthily building that over a long period. That's sort of where I think it is. So thanks to everyone who has wishlisted it. Go and smash it right now. I'm not logged in on this browser, but you should be, and you should smash that button and contribute to the slow, steady growth that will blossom into a beautiful page in the future. That's the master plan. Rice Awake says, don't worry, dude. You will get a guy who will review the game and love it because of the movement, and you'll get 1 billion downloads. That is part of the master plan, hopefully. That's why I get so obsessed over these little details as well. And I really got to make a video on this whole attitude, because I've spent so much time that I haven't documented on YouTube yet, which is why I've still been trying to mainly focus on videos for the moment, to document all of like what happened between this footage and this footage, because there is a lot. And a lot of it is like hyper fixating, like an almost autistic focus on all the details that everyone tells me doesn't matter, but I know does matter. And what I'm hoping is it does lead to that one guy, like the one Rice, you could say, Rice Awakes. It's all there so that the one finds the game. And it becomes their hyperfixation obsession. And maybe even if it doesn't become their obsession immediately, it hopefully might become one of these games that they like play once and they really enjoy. And then like a few years later, they're a bit bored and they decide to come back to the game. Because it's like, I remember playing this thing a few years ago and it was like really cool. I'm going to play it again. And like the work you need to do to get that to happen, it's inconceivable. It's hard to put into words, but over the last year and a half, I've been putting in lots of work and introspection and action to understand that's kind of sorcery. It's magic. It really is magic. And it goes beyond just grinding and coding. There's a lot more to it. So yeah, so that's kind of why I've been really also with this website, because on the website I've got lots of documentation about what that all means. I've got lots of blog posts about what that all means. And I think, I don't know, to me, it's such an important part of the development process. That's why I really want to get the site up, get the devlogs made about it so that I can continue and that people following the game understand what it is I'm actually trying to do beyond just, push out a video game. Because I've got a few games, okay? Like if we go to the page here at the moment, you'll notice that I've actually got more than one. I've actually done a few others. But none of you care about any of these. And that's fine. You don't have to. You shouldn't. I don't care about any of these either, because most of these are bad, right? No, I'm not really particularly proud of any of these. I just put them on the site for prosperity. But these are forgettable. These are junk. I'm not afraid to say that. Yeah, a lot of my own games here are junk. So that's why you gotta bring your best. That was the lyrics from His World. You gotta bring your best. That's what I'm doing with Feline. I did not bring my best for any of these, but this one I'm gonna bring your best. That's the way. Speaking of which, did you guys do your homework? Did you get a 2000s alarm clock like I told you to last week? I will be checking homework, So you best get your alarm clocks out. That's right. I'm actually going to hold you accountable. You're not just going to listen to me rant and take no action. When I rant at you about how important an alarm clock is, you will do it. You will follow the orders and do it. I hope you... I'm going to be checking. You guys better get the pics or it didn't happen. You got to get your photos of your alarm clocks ready. I will be checking. Coesta says, guys, let's crash the stream servers with wish lists. Yes, please do it. Please do it. Shovelware Messiah. yeah. Well, it is shovelware, and it's like, this sucks. I hate this. Like, all except Project Feline, all of these are shovelware, and I hate it. But I'm putting them here because it's like, look, this is what I have done. This is the best I have at the moment, but it's not the best I'm capable of, and I know it. Jesse, you didn't do it? No, you didn't get your alarm clock? Bro, I'm disappointed. You've been using no Twitter within an hour of waking up. Okay, that's a good step. That's a good step. But you got to be using no Twitter ever. Okay, you got to be not using it, period. I don't know. I used to get the appeal, I guess, because you scroll the thing and there's new stuff going on, but I don't know. I've kind of... I'm lost interest in Twitter completely now as a creator and consumer, I guess. I know there's like alternatives to it now as well, but I really just the format of short form tweets I just don't like. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just old, but preferably the apex is not using it, in my opinion. That's what you got to get. So next week, Jesse, I'm going to be marking you down 10 points, okay? By next week, you must get your alarm clock and ascend, all right? What about the rest of you lot? I know everyone's all quiet now. Everyone's all nervous and quiet now. They don't want to talk all of a sudden. But I will be checking, okay? I'm going to be inspecting every one of your rooms right now for an alarm clock. If you don't know why it's important, look at last week's stream. I went for a 30-minute bit on why having a physical alarm clock and not a smartphone to wake up is important. And I expect all of you to do that. You please do it. It is the best. Yeah, see, everyone's all dead quiet now. They all haven't done the homework. That's what I think's going on. Next week, guys, okay, you must do it, all right? Or else I'm going to be deducting another 10 points from your mark. Yes, we are in a class right now. Well, this has now become a class. You might actually do it. No, you won't might actually do it. You will actually do it. Jesse. I'm gonna talk to you like Mr. White right now, okay, Jesse? Jesse, you need an alarm clock. We need to wake up, Jesse. We need to wake up on time. Jesse, we need to stop scrolling Twitter. That's now your assignment, Jesse. Coesta, you didn't catch the last stream? Well, I can't go on the whole rant again. Can I give a condensed version? I will try to give a condensed version just for you. So, if you use a smartphone to wake up, you are using a portal to the warp to wake up. And if you use a portal to the warp to wake up, you will time travel into the future. And that's not what you want. You wake up, you touch the big screen, you get sucked into scrolling for an hour, and now all of a sudden, instead of it being 6 in the morning, it's 7 in the morning. You've just time traveled, and you've done nothing. That's what happens. The way you avoid that is by not using a smartphone to wake up. You get a physical... Hold on, I got a full screen. It's not in frame. I got to get the full frame. You get a physical alarm clock like this. Preferably one that plays music that you can choose so that you don't have some annoying sound. You can pick something cool like your favorite theme song, which you must do. You must pick your favorite theme song. I think that is an important ingredient as well. Because if the theme song is there's a good reason why it's your favorite. And if it is your favorite, it's probably going to have lyrics that go hard, that make you energized. And that's the first thing you must hear when you wake up. Otherwise, it's all going to be over, pretty much. Jamie says, I've been using my phone as an alarm mostly because I have it. But I can't find a clock that doesn't have lights I can't turn off or ticks, but that's all I'm doing with it. All right, well, if you have the restraint to use a phone and not time travel, that's quite powerful. That's quite rare. You, my friend, have ultimate power. So maybe you are the exception and you won't time travel, but I'm trusting that you're not lying to me right now and that you honestly don't time travel. If that's the case, I'll accept it. I will give you a pass on this assignment. Matthew McDowell says, you're saying we should all get a Nintendo Alamo? A what? I've never heard of this. What is this? Whoa. You know what? Yes, I am saying that. You need to get one of these. A little play to wake up routine with Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo. It's an interactive alarm clock that detects movements you make. Huh. All right. Well, I mean, that sounds better than a smartphone. And this design is pretty cool. It looks like it's Cappy from it's the hat guy. That's what it looks like. So yes, that is what I'm saying. This probably has a bunch of other stuff that you might not need, like it reacting to you. Okay, I don't need my clock to do that. But this is better. Okay, this is still good. I would recommend that you do that. Hold on, I'm just checking the Discord real quick. Are you guys posting pictures of your alarm clocks? Hey, one of you did buy one. Hells yeah. Digital alarm clock. Yeah. Elderly bedroom. Let's go. Dude, that's awesome. We're changing the world, guys. Nature is healing. That's right. You have to live the old style of an old person. That is what I'm telling you to do. What's the time travel thing a reference to again? It's not a reference, okay? This is a phenomenon. This is happening to you, okay? Time travel, this isn't some, you're time traveling. It's just like Back to the Future, just like the movie. No, this is not a Back to the Future reference. This is when you are doom scrolling, which a lot of you do. I used to do a bit of this myself, okay, so I know. Because a device with all of this smart stuff, with the touch screen and all these apps, you do get addicted to these like scrolling algorithms and the doom scrolling. That's what you kids call it. And doom scrolling is time traveling. That's what I think it is. It is time travel, but it is not the right kind of time travel. It is burning time. It's not like cool time travel where it's like, oh, I get to go back in time and fix it. No, you get to throw your time in the bin permanently. That's what you're doing. Because really, are you really getting anything out of it? I never got anything out of it. After you've put the phone down, you don't even remember what you were looking at for like 5 minutes afterwards. So, yeah. It's not good. You got to stop. Coester says, joke's on you. I'm in a deeper hole. My PC is my DeLorean. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a tougher one because I have to use a PC as well, so that's a tougher one to get around. I guess you could always just disconnect your internet. Don't do that, please. Please stay on the stream. I don't know. I don't know what you would do to solve it on the internet unless maybe you get some kind of browser that you deliberately throttle so that everything is so slow that you can't be bothered to do anything. I don't know. Maybe that's a solution. Now, I'm just trying to look at the site files because I do have some work I need to get through. Maybe I'll do some of it here on stream while I'm here yapping. I need to make some pages. You know what I need? You know what I should do? Because on the this will now be the new, I guess, the new Feline homepage. Oh, has it just disconnected? See, this is how you don't time travel on a computer. you disconnect the local host. You host all the websites locally, and you disconnect the local host. That's how. So, you know what? Okay, here's what I'll do, because I got to do something useful. I will get some of the character portraits working. so that when I release the site, I'll have nice, beautiful character portraits and bios for each of the cast members for the site. That's what I should start doing. Now, let's start off with, where do I keep that stuff? I keep it in Feline characters, and here's Gabby. Now, this is a markdown file, so it's going to look really weird in Visual Studio, so I better get my Obsidian vault open instead. And this, will have games, Feline characters, Gabby. So this is how the actual file looks in Obsidian when I'm editing it. And I need to do some work to get images to work in this and to fix these stats as well, because these are actually wrong. These stats are from another project that also involves Gabby, but that's top secret. I can't tell you about that one. Aussie problems. Yeah, so you all basically need to move to Australia and have slow internet. That's how you fix that problem. Did you try out the script for the blog post? I had a look at the GitHub. I haven't had a chance to try the script myself yet because I've just been sick. But it looks to me like it's some kind of executable or a library, which I have some reservations against running. I don't want to say it's paranoia. I think I have reasonable concerns over running libraries from unknown sources on my machine. The main thing I was looking for was just like a script with like no dependencies on it that just work. And I did have a look at the source because I think it's in Rust, it looks like, and I don't know how to read it. Because I want to understand what it's doing before I run it, because who knows? Some, not saying you, but somebody could use it for malicious purposes. So I got to be careful. And considering that my backup situation is not solid at the moment, it's not a risk I want to take now. So at the moment, I just haven't chased up that tree too far. I have been doing more research on the backup, and maybe I'll talk a little about that as well. I'll just fix up these stats first so that I get something done. Now, let's fix up some of these things. So on each of these character pages, I've got one for Felix as well. Actually, we'll do Felix's one first because he doesn't have a. Hold on, I'll copy this table. His will be easier to fill out. Because he's not some weird hybrid thing. So he is a human. Now these hyperlinks, this is part of why I had trouble with writing my script, is that these links are called wiki links that Obsidian uses by default, and I've had to stop using these sorts of links to get this to work on my website. So what I'm now doing is just markdown links, which look something like this. Now, this path is wrong, so I'm going to have to change this to website static games feline character lore. Now, I'm not sure if I'll include these in the public site, but I have my own little art. They're not very long. They're like a paragraph long of little articles of the races. Because you'll have some human characters, then you've got like polar bears like Calder, and then you've got hybrids like Gabby, who's sort of a mix between different things. So I've got little, just for my own sake, I might not publish those, but I have for my own sake little paragraphs of what sort of the synopsis is of the histories and stuff. I actually don't know what Felix's height and weight are, so I'm going to leave those blank for the moment. I think his age will be his age. I think was like 8 or 9, so I might go with 9. And date of birth, I don't remember. I think I do have that written down somewhere else, but I don't remember what it is at the moment. Parents, we don't know because he's Felix. He's an orphan, so he technically does have parents to exist, but they're not really relevant to the plot. So all we really know about him is that he's human, his name, his age, and that he's a guy. And a little this is kind of the more important stuff down here. This is good enough for the moment, although once things develop more, I want to have a bit more embellished. But this is like a good enough pitch, or an elevator pitch synopsis of each character. That's kind of what I want to get it to at the moment. The tags I do have to fix. These are all spelt wrong. We'll do character. And there we go. This has a date on it as well, which I'm not... I guess I'll just leave there. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but we'll leave it. Then we've got Calder. I'll copy this table for him as well. I did have a table with other statistics for Felix and Calder with like their height and their weight and stuff, but I can't remember where that is at the moment. I actually don't know how old Calder is, actually. He's older than the others, but he's, I don't know exactly. I don't know how it quite works for polar bears. I don't remember. I remember his height was like rough. It was like roughly, I think, 2 meters. So that would be like 200 centimeters or something. Oh, hey, Cosmic. Hello, feline friends. That's cool. Every like Twitch chat message right now has all got a cat in it. We've got the cat gifs and then hello, feline friends. It's very cat-like over there. Some guy says, I unironically have been wanting to get a clock for a few months because I suck so bad at waking up at the right time. Yeah, see, that was the same problem I had, too. So you got to do it. You got to get the clock. That's why I gave you guys all that homework last week, to do it. So this week, okay, all of you have failed, it seems, the assignment, except that one guy in Discord that did it. The old person clock. The elderly clock. So that one of you has passed the assignment, but some guy, you must pass the assignment. So after the stream's over, you're going to start shopping around for alarm clocks. That's the most important thing you got to do. Got to wake up. 32 for no particular reason. Maybe for Calder's age. See, I don't know if that's a little too young, because Calder's character, he's sort of like a I wouldn't say wise. He is a little, but he sort of has I want him to have the same kind of vibe as Joel from Last of Us, and I don't know how old Joel is. Joel seems, I want to say 40s, so we'll do 42. The answer to the universe. That's what we'll do for the moment. This is not final though. That's what I'm sort of feeling. I don't know. It seems like the right age, because he's not like old in the sense that he's like completely inert and he can't do anything. He's not like Yoda where he walking around on a cane, but he's also not like a spring chicken. He's sort of like in the middle-aged, which I guess 42 is pretty perfect. It's like precisely middle-aged, so I guess that'll work. Now, is this... This doesn't need to be a link because this is just referencing the page it's on. And this needs to be changed to a markdown link. So now if I hover over Gabby's name, it'll show Gabby's page, which is pretty cool. Now, Gabby's page, this is all stats from another project, from the prequel era, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Let's see. She's going to be a bit taller by this point, and weigh a bit more. You don't need to know this now. I'm just sort of scrubbing it of secrets. I guess we'll leave it at that for the moment. The main thing that we need is we got to have the tags filled in correctly and front matter to have a cool portrait, which I don't have yet. Actually, yeah, we don't need dates on these, so I will get rid of date as the front matter. Actually, oh, you know, do I want to leave that? I think I might want to leave that, actually, because then it tells me when I wrote... No, it doesn't matter. I'll get rid of it. Now, there is a specific kind of front matter I use to get these other things working. Thumbnail image, that's the one. And if I put in a link to an image here, it'll show on the website. But I need an image to use. So we better get cracking. The images have to be a specific size and formatted in a specific way for that to work. So I better crack open Photoshop. Are you using Obsidian? Asks Frosty. Yes, I am. Coesta says, feels like late 40s. Not familiar with Last of Us though. Yeah, I want to say 40s because in the little cutscene at the start of the game, he looks 30s. He's definitely not 20s when he's got Sarah because I don't know. Considering at the time that the game is set in, people in their 20s would not be having kids. Okay, that's already happening now, but it's definitely not happening by the time The Last of Us takes place. So I would say 30s, and then it fasts forward to like 20 years or 15 years. So he's probably going to be in his like late 40s by the time Ellie comes along. That's what that sounds about right. So I'm just going to create an image here in Photoshop because I got to make these. Oh, this is the wrong orientation. Canvas size. This is going to be flipped around. 90 degrees. There we go. Sick. And then I'll do my cool little turn the grid on. It's always nice to have that. Coesta says the very deep and sprawling lore of Feline. Well, I mean, I haven't said much about it, and I haven't tried to indulge in it too much, but there is, especially over the last month, there has been, I guess you could say it is starting to sprawl. It is starting to sprawl. But not in a Tolkien kind of way. It's a little different. How many cent? I want percent. Hold on, I just got to fill in this grid. It's hard for me to talk and work at the same time, which is why I stopped working on my streams. But I wanna get these portraits done by this morning, so I will do so. Now I gotta then go view. Show grid. Angel agrees with that age. Fantastic news. I'm glad to hear it. I'll tell Calder that you agree with his age. Yeah, but it does feel about right. I would say. Ray, check Discord. I did check Discord. Hold on. Oh, okay, that was from earlier. Oh, it was only $22 for that clock. Oh, that's sick. I'm just looking at the shipping thing that you said. Very cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you find one that's cheap for like $20, that's like 20. Dude, even if it costs more than that, please save the money and do it. It is so worth it. You know, if you see something that's like 50 or $100. And you think, oh, that's a bit much to spend on an alarm clock. You don't understand that you're not actually just buying the alarm clock. You are buying back like many, many hours. You are buying back so much time, which is worth way more than $100. So Frosty says, when will we begin to see lore stuff in the devlogs? That's a great question and a tough one. Let me just think about that for a quick second while I find where I remember where I've put my renders of Calder real quick. Give me one moment. I just gotta look around in my folders. I'm not sure if I can talk about the lore stuff in the devlogs. I don't know. I'd like to, but it's tough because I don't want to like. There is a danger to doing that, and I'll get to that in just a moment. I just gotta find my renders. I think it's in the because some of my folders in Feline are a little in disorder. I gotta reorganize some of them. Where have I put Calder? It would be in concepts, I think. Source, characters, Calder, concept. I think here are some concepts. So to answer that question, the reason why that might not be a good idea is I have observed developers that have come before me that have obsessed too much over lore. Now, that's not to say that thinking about lore in general is bad. Don't misconstrue me. I think not thinking about it is not always the good thing either. A lot of people will just make games that don't really have any deeper meaning, like my previous games. I'll get those to show you what I mean. Like these, there's nothing deep about the rest of these games. So I think there should be a degree to which you have your own little personal lore on why the choices in your game matter in terms of the choice of art style, the choice of character, the choice of setting. You might not need to tell the player, but you as the creator should know. You should have reasons for why Gabby is a cat girl, why it's taking place in this there's a few environments I haven't shown yet, but like why there's a laboratory, why I'm picking those mechanics and aesthetics for a game with these mechanics. Like, you as the developer should know those reasons, and those reasons, they might not make sense to anyone but you, and that's okay. But you should know them. You shouldn't be doing like what I've done with the rest of my other games that you probably haven't even heard of or care about, because I didn't have those reasons for them. Like, there was no reason these had to exist. Like, that's why they're forgettable junk. For this little thing, there's no reason why this guy, why is he slaying slime? I don't know. There's no reason. Why is this guy collecting fruit? There's actually a funny story behind this one. It's quite depressing and funny. It's some contest I did like 9 years ago for some government thing. It was the lamest experience. And anyway, that'll take an hour to get through. But basically, this game, I didn't want to make that. I just happened to do it. But it's like, there is the point being, you should have very deep, weird reasons for whatever you're making, because while the player might not understand them, if you were to tell them, they will come to understand it in the product itself as they play it. Those will be the little reasons why they get obsessed with your game and why they like it. That's what I believe. But on the same time, there is a tendency I've noticed with some developers where they kind of overdo, they get to a point. I'm trying to think why this does, because this does happen for an interesting reason. It tends to happen because, like, I think they lack confidence in the foundation of the game, and they think, oh, my game isn't fun enough, so I need to attach all of this other extra sophistication to it. And if it's only for that reason, I think that you've got something wrong. If it's a compliment, where it's like, I have a solid foundation and having this extra stuff would make it better, I think that's the right way. But if it's my foundation is bad and I need to cover it up with lore, that's, I think, when it's not good. That's when you've got a problem, because people will see through it. So why did I bring that up? I remember there was a reason I brought this up. I'm just gonna also, I think I'm gonna pick this render here to use as well. Yeah, this document is also so huge, by the way, that that's lagging my computer. So, all right, let's duplicate that over to the... Yes, I wish to proceed. What was I saying? So the reason so why is that hard to talk about in a devlog? Also, why is this bounding box so big? Anyway, why is that hard to talk about in a devlog? Because if you share too much in a devlog, it sets expectations, and I think it's worth to be in as much control of the expectations people have of you as possible in terms of when you're making something. Because if you get out of control, if those do get out of control and you start doing things and people's expectations far exceed what you're actually capable of, that's a big problem. Because then when you release the thing, it will disappoint no matter what you do, because you've allowed the expectations to go out of control. And that usually comes from indulging of some kind. You want to indulge too much in something that is not core, or that is honest to the essence of the work in some way. I don't know. I'm just improvising here. I don't have some script or anything to explain this, but that's what I think it is. So that's why I kind of haven't said much and won't want to say much. Because if I say too much, then they get hyped. And that's good. Hype is good, but you have to do it on purpose. You can't make hype if you get hype by accident and you don't know what to do with the hype once you get it, it's over. You won't, it will crash and burn. You will fail. You will disappoint. That's what I've seen. And that always happens. Usually the gateway is when people indulge in something like lore, usually. But it's because they want people to validate their lore, not because they actually, there's a reason to share the lore. It's like, oh, I came up with all this and I want people to pat me on the back. That's usually kind of where it comes from, I think. Whereas me, I think if I was to talk about the lore in any capacity, it would be... Also, I'm going to real quick I need to get a better background for these portraits. So I'm going to quickly open... I do have the right background for this. Give me one quick moment here. What was I I was in the middle of a sentence there. What was I saying? In the sense that I would want to share it, I would not want to do it to get praise. Because, it'll build too much hype at the wrong time, and also I actually kind of like keeping it to myself because it means a certain thing to me, and I think it's better that you just experience it in the game rather than me telling you in this clinical way in a devlog. That doesn't mean I can't talk about making lore, because that's where I would want to be more interested in. But the actual contents is something I probably wouldn't want to get into too much for those reasons. Now, real quick, hold on, I got to remember what I'm typing in File Explorer. I need to go static, Feline. Oh, no, it's, project Feline. Yes. So I want the background for this. Now, to continue with that point, what I would want to do, I think, is talk about the things I think about when I choose ideas, why I will, because there is, I think, good lore has synchronicity. And I think the idea of synchronicity, that's something I would want to maybe talk about in a devlog, because that doesn't just apply to my stuff. It applies to everything. And the goal you would have there, if I make that known and talk about it, what it does is that it makes people aware of the synchronicity so that they don't just think what I'm doing is cooler, but they think everything is cooler because they can see more behind. Well, maybe not everything, because not everything has great synchronicity, but great things have synchronicity. And it would be more, I think, germane to talk about the lore, not directly to tell you what's actually going to happen, but the things that are important to me, that the purpose of it does, like the reason it exists and why it's important, rather than what it's doing, because that you save what it's doing for the actual game. Because yeah, then when you understand the purpose of it, then you can play any game that is good, that does this, and you will appreciate it more. And I think that's a better result than just validate my lore and make me feel good about what I've written. I think it's better to be able to help people to see things differently like that and go, whoa. It's like, and then, because I've seen this even in the games I play, that even old stuff, and it's like, whoa, I remember playing this as a kid and I really liked it, but now I understand why. And that is just so much cooler. And it's less selfish too, because it means that it isn't just all about me. It's about just you can apply to anything. And I think that's really cool. So I don't know, maybe that gets saved for a devlog someday. Once I get through the other devlogs I have to work on as well. But yeah, does that make sense though? Is that, I don't know if that's too weird, if that's too roundabout or whatever. Well, that's sort of my attitude about it, to answer your question, Frosty. Coesta says, I do love when games have a bit of depth to the world building and pre-story. It's what keeps games like Hollow Knight and Deltarune bouncing around. Interesting, those, because I was thinking of those two games when I was just talking just there. Because isn't it interesting that those two games are firstly like the two games anyone thinks of when you talk about indie games, and also they were kind of I think Deltarune is new, but Undertale, that's like, when did that come out? It was a while ago now, wasn't it? And Hollow Knight came out a while ago, and you notice how it's still culturally relevant and people are still talking about it? That's not an accident, okay? Like that's kind of, as you said, that's what keeps it bouncing around. And I think the reason those people got there is they hit the right Goldilocks zone where they weren't overindulge, where they were only doing lore and nothing else, which I have seen people do, where they have an entire document of lore but no game. They don't even have a prototype or anything. I've seen people do that, and that's too much. And then there's too little, where I release a game every 2 weeks and no one cares about them. That's the other extreme. And that you want to hit the Goldilocks zone. When you hit the Goldilocks zone, you end up as one of those, and you get remembered for a long time. And that to me is the end. That's the end game. That's the ultimate goal, which I think that's what I'd like to achieve. Is it hard? Hell yeah. It's very hard to achieve. It's extremely hard because you have to basically resist the urges constantly to not underdo it or overdo it. It means you can't be too lazy or too indulged. You have to sort of reach this perfect middle ground, which is so hard. That's why you need to have all the little details in your life sort of straightened out. That's why you got to have an alarm clock and not a smartphone and all this stuff. All of those little choices that I obsess over are things that keep you in the Goldilocks zone, so that you're not overindulged, you're not underindulged, you're just in the right zone. It's important stuff. And no, I don't think a game dev course is going to tell you that. I do see people out there that are like, all you need to do is, if you want to make a full-time living making games, you just have to buy my course. I see that all the time. You just have to give me money, and I will teach you how to do the basic stuff you can learn on YouTube for free, and only those. But even that isn't good enough. You can't just have technical skill. It's not enough. you gotta kind of, you have to get all of it. You have to understand all of it. And yeah, it's so hard. But you know, I think it pays off, and I think it's worth it. That's sort of what I'm all about. All right, I just wanted to rename all these layers to the proper convention as well while I did that, because my naming convention has changed a bit for this website, for good reason too. So let's give this a save. What shall we call this thing? What's the date and time? 2025-0704-1101-50 by the time I finish writing this. Calder portrait 600 by 900. I don't put this in the Photoshop, the size in the Photoshop name though, because that changes. So I'll do static feline. Yeah, that'll. Oh no, this is wrong. This is the wrong folder. Documents. Notes. Website. I gotta put my Obsidian Vault in an easily accessible folder as well. Website static. Games. No. Yeah, it should be. Oh no, it should be in a project. Yeah. Yeah, it'll go here. And then we save, so that's the source. Also, I might get rid of these speed lines. Don't need those. Okay, and then that looks good. So we'll give that a save, and then we'll save. We gotta then also save it as a WebP to be nice and compressed for the website. Coesta says, all this talk reminds me of Corn Kids. It doesn't have much depth on the surface, but it absolutely reeks of style and intention. Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have seen this game, Corn Kids. It sounds like a sick name. Oh, I have seen this. This is actually a game oh, it's on sale. That's great. Because so one of you last week asked, have you bought any new games on the summer sale? And this actually might be one that I will consider buying. Because I remember hearing about, I didn't hear about it, but I saw a picture of this somewhere like a year ago. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I just didn't check it out. But this does look really cool. This would be like the one game on the Steam sale right now that I would buy. Because it is right. It does reek of intention, style. And even if you're inclined, because all this, you can see how what I'm talking about relates here, right? And if I know that there are people that don't believe me when I talk about this stuff, they think this is all just spiritual nonsense and that you don't need to worry about it and that you can just make $1 million by doing the bare minimum, not caring, and just doing what's trending right now, man, and just release content all the time, and you'll be like. The reason I know that doesn't work is you can tell that that's been done to this game, and the results are the evidence. So here's what I like to do. We'll do a little. Here's my little market research. Okay, this is what I do. When I look up and find games like this that catch my eye like this, what I do is I run the numbers. Now these aren't always accurate, but they give you a rough idea. I look the game up. I punch it into VG Insights. And what you will notice about every game that spiritually succeeds like this is that they always do really well. They always make at least $100,000, like this game. This is quite good. This is in like the top 10% of Steam games, which is like exceptional, okay? That's exceptional. Most games don't make $500, $5,000 or $500. Most, like 80% of Steam games don't make that. So even if you are this sort of, you only care about the numbers and you're like, oh, well, you got to just do what's the most high numbers. there is a incentive to do this as well. Now, this isn't $1 million, but that's still 200,000. And now, this might not be exactly correct. It is calculating this based on estimates. But from what I do know someone whose game reads the numbers that they said they got. So I trust it mostly. It's probably got like maybe a 10%-ish margin of error or something. You can sort of reasonably trust, I think, that it's like roughly where it's in ballpark-wise. Now, would this cover the cost of development? I mean, maybe. It's a pretty low-fidelity game. And I think anyone would be thankful to be able to make this much off anything. Like, that's pretty good. That might even be enough to, like, fund another project or something, you know? So it's... And 45,000 units sold, too, right? That's 45,000 people that had a great time. 94% positive. So by all metrics, and I don't believe in just judging things on metrics, but even if I'm doing this for the people that do that, though, if you're the guy that doesn't see the invisible and you can only see what you can measure, the measurements are telling you that this is still a good thing you ought to be doing, because most games don't get 90% positive reviews. Most games don't make $100,000, $200,000. Most games don't sell 45,000 units. And these numbers don't just mean big numbers. This is a spiritual, artistic success and a financial success, but most importantly, it is an artistic success, and it's both. That's what it's so good. It's a financial and artistic success. Like, you can feel it oozing. Like, you can just feel it, right? And that all comes from these little invisible things that most people don't care about and they don't think matters, like the color choice of each of these screenshots, the layout of the text. You notice how it's doing that same thing we talked about last week, where it's got only 3 lines, where the dialogue boxes are always small and only have 3 lines of You notice how it's doing the same thing here? I don't know, that's just unrelated, but something I just noticed. But you see, there is nothing in this frame that is unintentional. Every color chosen, every polygon chosen, the fonts chosen, the colors chosen, the proportions chosen. This is craft, and this is amazing. And this came out 2 years ago. Let's see if people are still leaving reviews. 4th of July, 2nd of July. Oh, would you look at that? It's still relevant. People are still playing it. Wow. That's great. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, but anyone that I talk to doesn't want to do this. They want to make... Hold on. Where's my website? They want to make this. They want to make Slime Slayer. That's what anyone who I've met in real life that is a game developer that aspires to make games, they want to do this. And it's like, why would you want to do that when you could do this and make something that is evergreen? That's what this is. I know that you can judge, even if you can only judge it by numbers and you can't see anything beyond that, the numbers are all looking good. And it is evergreen, meaning that in a year from now, this will still be selling units. In 2 years from now, this will still be selling units. 5 years from now, this will still be selling units. And, sure, it didn't make $1 million on launch week. Oh no! But you don't understand. Like, long term, this is evergreen. This is valuable. You know, there are heaps of games that are worse than this that made more money in shorter time that no one cares about. And it's like, what game do you want to play? Do you want to make $1 million in a week, or do you want to make like $500,000 over a few years? And you give people like an experience, like an emotional experience that they remember, rather than a game that they use as background noise. So sorry, that was a big rant. Anyway, so I don't know, like, I think Coesta, you're onto something about pointing out that game, because yeah, you really look at it closely and it holds up. I haven't even played the thing. I haven't even played it, and I can tell. You can see it just from the impression it gives you. I haven't even played this thing. I want to now, because it's ticking all the boxes and it's doing everything right, at least from what I can see. And it does make me want to buy it. So I want to contribute to those numbers. But anyway, that's why all the stuff matters, you know. Do they have a website? I'm curious now, do they have their own little indie website? Because that would be the cherry on top if they did. If these guys... Who are these guys? Bogosoft. I am not familiar with them. Do they have a website? Bogo Zone. Let's go. Whoa. Okay, are these the same? I don't know if this is the same. Oh, it is. Okay, it's... Dude, look at this. This is so cool. Wow. God, this is awesome. See how, like, when you visit the Marathon website, like you guys were showing me, I did not have a reaction at all. I felt nothing looking at this. You guys remember? This was like a month ago now. You guys were telling me we were looking at web design. See how... Did you guys see me smiling when I went to the BOGO zone? This is so freaking cool. This is so awesome. But you look at the Marathon homepage, it's not even gonna load because it's so bloated, dude. The website's so bloated it doesn't even load. That's crazy. The BOGO zone, though, it's here immediately. They've even got a comic book. Look at this. Oh my god, this is so cool. See, this is what it's all about. Okay, this is the vision. This is what it's all about. This is oozing. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna bookmark this for later. That's actually so cool. But yeah, that basically, I want to do my version of that. That's what it's all about. I don't think it's too unreasonable. I think that's what everyone should be doing. Coesta says, weird thing is, I don't think this game had any real capital M marketing. Yeah, man. Interesting that. I didn't see any marketing for this either. Well, let's go back because okay, now the Marathon site loaded. This has billions probably of marketing budget. The video looks crap. It's bit compressed as hell. It's boring. It looks like Destiny, which is boring. I feel nothing. I feel nothing. I feel nothing. I just feel pissed off, really. But we'll go back to Corn Kids for a second here. Okay. This, like, you're right. It didn't have... I don't remember seeing any TV commercials or bus signs or paid YouTube ads for this. But it sold 45,000 copies. How the hell do you sell 45,000 units with no marketing? Well, you will know the answer. If you've been listening to what I've been saying, you will know the answer already. So it's like, I don't think people realize how brilliant this is. How brilliant of a plan that this is. Like this is actually like this whole thing here. Because the thing is, this is the marketing here. This actually is the marketing, but it's so tasteful that you don't recognize it as marketing. It is so subtle and well executed that you don't realize it is marketing. Because this is marketing here. It's got the zone, you've got the content, you've got the games. Like you can imagine they've got like this is the pitch right here. This is the pitch deck right here. This is the elevator pitch right here. And I hate using all these sort of corporate terms to describe all this, but these guys do such a good job that you don't even... It's still playing that game technically, but you don't realize it. That's genius. That's what I think what everyone should be trying to do. The problem is not everyone knows how to. A lot of people don't want to do it either. They don't care because doing that actually takes effort beyond a focus group. You can't just look at numbers and go, well, according to our focus group, you couldn't come up with any of this stuff in a focus group. You know, you can't do it. It takes something more. It takes intention, vision, passion, unquantifiable things. Now, anyway, sorry, I went on a huge tangent there. I forgot to save this picture. But yeah, I'm going to check out the BOGO zone during lunch for sure. Now, this needs to go in static. Feline. Right here. Hold on, I gotta see your messages. Sierra says, I just feel pissed off is the first thing I hear when jumping on. Yeah, it's true. Prode Deathwish says, great example of this is GTA, what number? GTA 6 is a website, although it doesn't need this kind of marketing at all. I have heard of GTA. I haven't played GTA personally. It's not my kind of game, but it's the game I can't hear people stop talking about. But what is their website an example of? You say? Oh yeah, it's like the marathon thing. It's just okay. It's the picture, cool. Coming 2026. This is the California font. I've seen this before. Oh, okay. I don't think my Australian internet can handle this. I mean, I don't know. GTA is not really my thing. I don't really want to play a game where I commit crimes. I just don't have an interest in it personally. Yeah, I don't know. It could just be because this isn't really for me. But yeah, I don't have a strong emotional reaction. But yeah, isn't this meant to be like the most hype game of all time or something? Like this is the one game everyone's losing their mind over. I mean, I don't know. It's not for me. I don't feel hyped. I am a bit overwhelmed though by the amount of fidelity. Like it's so detailed. And it just keeps going. It just doesn't stop. It just keeps going. I'm getting a little tired. My scroll bar is getting a little tired. Like, I don't know who these people are. I don't care who roll. Who the hell's this? I don't care who this is. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I just don't get it, but I don't get it. Okay. I really hate the weird fake scrolling. Well, I mean, because that's what everyone does now. It's doom scrolling. Oh my god. The entire website is, you navigate it by doom scrolling. Look at me go. Whoa. Look at all these pictures. I don't know. I don't like it. I gotta stop looking at it. Oh, look at this. Oh, the BOGO zone. This is nice. No, look, I only have to scroll a wee little bit. Look at that. And it's got this cool comic. I don't have to scroll at all. I can just click a button. Oh my god, this is so cool. Dude, I could make comics like this for my site too. This is so cool. See, this is giving me so many ideas. I didn't get any ideas looking at the GTA 5 Doom Scroll site. I'm getting so many ideas looking at this. This is so cool. See, I'm actually just taking in and reading the contents, because this is really well typeset as well. You get into the design and why the color choice and typesetting is perfect for all these, even though it doesn't look, oh, it's not California and cool looking. It doesn't have big dynamic text or like it's done well. It's done well. Anyway, sorry, I keep fawning over this. Sierra says, I'm not a GTA gal myself. Yeah, me neither. The GTA website runs badly on my 4080 Super? Bro, that's crazy. I don't even have a 4080. That's crazy. But yeah, the fact that the website is running that badly, I think look, I don't like to judge other people's work too harshly, but mark my words, if the website runs that badly, what do you think that's going to tell you about the game? See what happens. Let's see what happens when the big GTA 6 comes out. I don't know. Everyone's so hyped for this. I don't really have any skin in the game personally on this, but I bet when it comes out, there will be the onslaught of complaints about how badly it runs. That's just my prediction. That's what the voices in my head right now are screaming, saying it will run bad at launch, and there will be a huge thing where it's going to be a huge deal because everyone is so hyped for this, and it will be a huge letdown because of the demanding requirements it will require. You will see YouTubers talking about it for a month straight. You know, the GTA 6 situation is crazy, and they will all be talking about how, and then to run the game, my 4080 doesn't even run it. Whenever this happens, this might be a year or 2 years from now, but I just feel like it will happen. I just have a feeling that that's what's going to happen, and that's what the release is going to be like, judging only by the website and how the website runs. That's my prediction. I want to be wrong very badly. I want to be wrong, but I don't know, man. That's what the voices tell me. CRS is also lacking in style or personality. It feels corporate. I mean, in fairness, it is corporate, so of course it will feel corporate. It's no individual made that. Only works on Google, not Firefox. Oh. Cyberpunk Electric Boogaloo. That did happen with Cyberpunk. And I don't know, I feel like it is going to be the Cyberpunk sequel. Like, in terms of what it means in terms of like a game release, like what the event will be. It will be another Cyberpunk. I think everyone thinks it's going to be a Halo 3, but I don't think it will. I just don't think so. Anyway, I need to get to my next portrait. Sorry, I've been now my brain is going overdrive trying to predict the future of GTA 6. I need to get Felix next. Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. There's just so much to observe. There's so much to notice. It's crazy. It's mostly saying it in response to you saying it wasn't inspiring you in any way. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why typically, I tend to... that's why I personally have no aspirations working for a corporation. You know, people have said, "Oh, Sega should hire you," but no, they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. I don't. You know, I think anything that people like about indies that makes them great is because they are indies. Not, absorbing them into a company, I think, would take away what makes them special to a degree. Anyway, sorry. I gotta find the folder for Felix next. I haven't had my coffee this morning, so I'm a bit slow. So I'm gonna go to my Feline source folder. I don't know if that's I think I'll use this portrait. So I gotta convert to smart object, duplicate. Well, where was duplicate? There we go. And then we will take, I want the glow, yes. And then we'll move this and put him in there. So that's going to be the second. Sorry. I don't know why this has been taking me so long. I guess I've just been, I don't know. Again, I have a hard time working and talking at the same time, so that's probably why. So let's give this a save. This is Felix portrait. Real quick. I'm just going to get rid of something in the file name. Angel says, Raymond, about Project Feline, my low-end computer ran the prototype despite the Unreal 4 editor itself running pretty well, and I recommend using a model technique called LODs. You're in luck, Angel. Luckily, I am using LODs currently, but the build that you would have played is very old. If I'm assuming correct... Yeah, so the prototype... Hold on. The prototype you would have been playing was like the 0.11. And yes, that's the one that is still using mega scans, and it does use LODs, but it is bad, okay? It is pretty bad. I don't think you will have those problems when my current demo is ready, because I'm literally using completely a different workflow, different shading, it's all different. We can I think maybe I'll get it open real quick for those that don't know. Got to provide my entertainment. We'll do some gaming, provide some entertainment. I think I have kept the build, that version of it. Because yeah, maybe, I don't know how many people still go to check this out. I'm amazed still people are playing this build. But for those who haven't, that have only really been watching the streams or have just been watching the devlogs and haven't actually checked on the last build that I had put out all that time ago, there is actually so much that is different now that you might not notice. So yeah, here, I think I've got it here. Now, if I run this, it's going to full screen it. And I don't want it to full screen. I want it to run in a window. So it's going to glitch out for a quick second here. But yeah, don't worry about that, Angel. That will get... Well, I haven't obviously tested my build on your computer, but I have confidence you will not have that problem with my current solution. So let me just unwindow this for a second, because it's going to stretch way beyond what the stream is recording. There we go. You guys can see that. Let me just check Streamlabs. Also, I don't want the volume. Also, yeah, this menu, dude. Oh my god. Look at this menu. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Wait till you see the... Oh, no. See, that's what my brain's doing whenever I look at this. Hold on, I gotta minimize some of these windows here. I can see you guys. Let's do it. Let's play right now. So I'm guessing you would have been playing this map, which already you can see a problem. Even my computer is chugging to load this level. Oh man, because I didn't have loading screens implemented yet. So every time you click on a level, it freezes. Oh, anyway. So I'm guessing you would have played this level, right, Angel? Yeah, I don't blame. Yeah, this would run pretty bad. If you want to know why that is, because it does use LODs. That's the thing, but it's running bad for a different reason. There's a different reason it's running so badly. So you see the plants in the background? You'll notice how that they change depending on... I don't know, let me just turn off post-processing. What's the command for post-processing? Show post-processing. We'll turn off the bloom and everything for a moment. I'll decrease the FOV. So look in the background behind Gabby. And you will notice the plants, you see how they like pop in? Do you guys see that? See, there is lotting, okay? You guys see that? If we go the wireframe view, I don't think it lets me do wireframe actually in the build. But it is doing it. The reason it runs so badly is because all of this, especially this map, this was the worst. Actually, no, it wasn't the worst. There have been worse that have come since, but this is the worst that I publicly released. Because all of these materials that this level is made of are marketplace, and no. These are Quixel Megascan materials, which is what all the big companies use now. And these are the least optimized materials I've ever used. So this concrete, I didn't make this. This is Megascan's concrete, which is just a photograph of concrete. The plants are Megascan models, which are photo scans of plants. What else? These little trees are Megascans. The little pots they come in are Megascans. And that's a problem because if you get real close to them, you see that, oh my god, there is so much detail modeled into these that is not important. You see it? How many of you would have noticed that the mulch is modeled in here? How many of you guys noticed that? I didn't notice. None of you probably noticed, but that's taking up, it's small, but it adds up. It takes up performance. The computer has to render that stuff, right? And these shipping crates, these aren't mine. These are Megascan, or I don't know, these are marketplace shipping crates. They have all these rivets modeled in. They've got all the door handles and stuff modeled in, even though they don't really need them to be modeled in. And you get that with a big enough level, or like these cardboard boxes, which are also kind of built similarly, and these bricks. Like, these are all just I didn't know what I was doing. I was just placing random assets everywhere. I was flipping. I was asset flipping like crazy in this level. And it shows, and you can feel it because it runs horribly. Like, even all of these water containers are over-modeled. You don't need this much detail for this kind of game. And it's, that's why. And also the code there's also code stuff that's probably doing it. And the post-processing is really heavy as well. Because I needed to make all of this look cartoony and anime, and because the models themselves didn't look cartoony or anime, I had to overcompensate by overdoing the post-processing. And that's actually most of the performance is probably the post-processing, I would guess. So if I get my old frame rate counter in the corner and we go show post-processing, I actually don't know if it's going to work in windowed mode. It might not work in windowed mode. We'll turn off VSync for a sec. So without post-processing, the frame rate is 140 something on my machine, which is decent, but with post-processing, it goes down to 120. Look at that. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah, so that's like 20 frames a second less on my computer. So on your computer, Angel, it probably would have been way worse, I imagine. So I'm curious what would have happened if you had played it. You run this command, show post-processing. If you do that and run it, which you shouldn't need to do when the game's done, obviously. That's why this is a prototype. But if you try that, I'm curious what would happen. I think it might run a bit better. And then that will confirm to me that it is, in fact, the overdone post-processing I was doing at the time, which was causing the performance to be so bad. What's crazy is people wanted me to, like, release this as, like, oh, just add more levels and finish it. But it's like, no, but it's crap. It runs horribly. It looks horrible. No, I'm not doing that. I don't care if how long it takes me. That's why I haven't really, I've kind of kept this on itch as it is, just to preserve how bad it was, so that when you see the Steam demo, you can compare it with the itch demo and go, oh my God, this is like a completely different world. Like, it's so different. Because this is not good. The itch version. Everyone tells me it's good though, and that's the thing that's so weird, is that it has like 4.5 stars. Oh, this is so great, this is amazing, but I know that it's not good, and that's been a real tough process to undo that conditioning, where it's like, I know people are telling me this is good, but I know in my heart that it isn't. And you have a choice you can make there, where do you give in to temptation, or do you do what your heart tells you? And my heart tells me it needs more work. It needs more work. And this is not good. Because then let's compare it now, a few years later. Because this was from 2021, I think. So this is like 4 years ago, I think. Let's compare it now. Let's get that. And this is going to be not fair, because the thing I'm about to show you is in the editor. So it's actually not going to run as well as a build. But that won't even matter, because it's so much better now. We'll do a comparison to the new stuff. Kyo says, that's why I don't do store assets, especially free ones. Yeah, I learnt my lesson the hard way, for sure. Brutalist architecture and brutalist performance. Oh, that is such a sick burn. I love it. That is so true. Brutalist performance. It looks like it might be using a displacement map, which I feel is even worse for performance. I mean, yeah, it probably is, honestly. Which, yeah, it's not good. You shouldn't need to use those. Angel says, yeah, basically killing performance. And, of course, the one biggest issue with most Unreal games is when they use a lot of PBR, tessellation, and crap. That's right, yeah. So I was using a lot of that in that build you would have played. All of those materials are PBR materials. Each of those objects, I think, is running a different material, which is not good, as I learned. The environments I'm currently running are built so different. Like that laboratory I'm working on, it all uses one material that is just a standard diffuse material. There's no PBR, no displacement map, no normal maps even. It's so primitive that it doesn't even have normal maps. And it looks, well, I don't even have to say it. You can see for yourself. I'm not going to put words in your mouth here. We'll go and just look at it. And you tell me what you think looks better. Give it a moment. So I'm running this from the editor, so the performance is actually not really representative of what it will end up like when I finish it. Because there is the editor overhead. Because when you have these windows on the side, like the list of objects in these panels, that does eat up frame rate. So this won't be a fair comparison. But this, you'll see, it's going to be... It actually will not matter that the engine overhead is even there with how I've been doing it. So here's the new stuff. Here's the new stuff, right? You can see that visually there's a huge difference. The style is very different. It's more distinctive. And this isn't even finished. The textures aren't even finished on this. And there's a atmosphere, which the other level did not have. It didn't have it was brutalist. It was brutal. This is so brutal. That's what it was. This, though, is different. You can feel something different. And let's look at the performance, because that's what we've got to judge it on ultimately. So we'll go stat FPS. So this is, I don't think my normal frame counter will work here, unfortunately. So I'm going to use Unreal's FPS counter. But you see on the, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's very small. But it says 100 and something 120 roughly FPS, which I think it's because also the light bake has failed, so that's probably why it's having issues. It needs to rebuild the lighting. Because I haven't touched this in a little while, so I've got to remember what to do. We'll do the build lighting only for a sec, just to clean up that error. I think if when I run it in full screen, though, it gets a little better. But, so yeah, on the compiled version of the old build on my machine, it was running at 120 to 140. But I think that was also on medium as well. So because there's also the scalability settings too, which I forgot to mention. So if I was to run the executable again of the older build, oh, hold up. This has become a bit tiny. Because I've got this running on medium. So that was on medium as well. So if we run this on high, the highest setting, and then go back to that level, and it's going to take forever to load. Oh, hold on. I gotta have the build going in the background there. Why is the window keeps messing up? Hold on. Oh, no. This way. Yep. So we see, now it's running at like 50 frames a second. And now it's just frozen big time for some reason. There we go. So now it's running at 50 frames a second on my computer, and I'm running a 2070. So that's not good. It should be running at like 140. So that's why even when I played this version, I run it on medium. And this isn't even at full resolution, because it's running at 70% render scale, which is kind of cheating. So if we go to full % render scale and medium graphics, this is still not great. It's like 80 frames a second here, which is... You can do better than that. And it seems to, the light bake always breaks when you change the graphical settings. That doesn't happen anymore, but it does happen on this build. So let's reopen it one more time. 60, 50, 60. Let's minimize Unreal 2 actually, because that's kind of cheating. So, okay, 70 frames roughly, which is, it's not great. It's okay, because if it's running 70 or 90 on something on my computer, it means that on a computer from 10 years ago, it would be running at like 40 or 30 frames. I don't actually look, this isn't based on anything. This is just based on intuition only. But my intuition has been pretty helpful in resolving stuff like this. So if I know that on my computer, I know what I can run the games that I play at. I know I can run Doom at a certain frame rate, and I can run, Sonic Generations at a certain frame rate. I'm thinking, all right, well, my game should be hitting similar to that on my setup. And if it's running lower than this, it means that for anyone with lesser hardware, it's going to be a problem. So 90, now it's at 90 frames for this level. But yeah, it needs to be at least like 120. That's sort of what I aim for. Now, is that the right way to set a frame rate benchmark? I don't know how the professionals do it, honestly, because I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy in his room. So I don't know if that's the correct... There's probably some actual cool way to come up with actual benchmarks, like, properly, but I don't know how they do it. So I'm just doing the way I know. So now that we've done that light bake, now mine is now running at and I'm also running it at a really high res monitor too, so that's also something to consider. And that light build still didn't work for some reason. Because it's still... Oh, wait, hold on. Because it's replacing the level geometry with the old geometry. So... LSS lab. Yeah, hold on a sec. I didn't clean this up before showing it off. I gotta change this name to Meshing 02, I think. There we go. So now, this runs in editor at 130, 140, which is way better than the compiled game from that old build. And this is in editor. So this is actually a little worse than you actually would get if you exported this as an executable. This is editor. 140. I'm looking at, you see the little number? It's going crazy a bit, but it's like 140. More importantly, you want to kind of be looking at the frame time. 7 milliseconds, which is, I think 3 is typically the great area. That's like the gold platinum zone is 3 milliseconds. 6 to 7 is still great. Where it gets really bad is like 16 or 30 milliseconds. That's where you don't want to be. That's like 30 frames a second territory. But 7 milliseconds, I don't know. I think that's what I get for most of my games that I play. The games that I buy, I get about 7 milliseconds. And this is an editor. And it's like, man, that's not bad. That's not bad. And the reason that's possible is because all of this stuff is not using PBR, Marketplace, Mega Scans. This is all handmade, and it's all using one standard material with no normal maps, no displacement maps, no trickery, none of this stuff. It's all just diffuse textures only, baked lighting only, and that's it. And suddenly, for no reason, the game runs better. Oh, what? How could this be? So... yeah, that's why this has been a lot more work, obviously. It's taken a lot longer, but it's going to be great. It's going to be so much greater. So that's why, hopefully, who was it? Atom that said that? I gotta find chat again. Where did chat go? I've lost my... here we go. Found you. Angel, sorry. Yeah, so that I think when the Steam version is ready, you are going to have a much better time. My only concern is if there's some secret thing that I don't know about that is going to bite me in, like, later on. Some weird Unreal setting that I am unaware of. That's the only thing I'm kind of afraid of, is that there's some setting that's turned on that's there by default that I don't know about. That's going to that's going to lead to, oh, well, you've done all this stuff and it still runs badly on my computer for some reason, and I'm not going to know what to do. That's my only fear. But I mean, considering that on my computer at least it's having much better mileage, I at least know that it will be at least a bit better. So that's that's at least a bit better. Prodby Deathwish says 5 to 7 ms is really great. Not going lower than that realistically, anyways. Oh, that's good news then. See, I'm never sure exactly what great is, but if 5 to 7 is great, then that's great. That is great. That is great news. And everyone told me I couldn't do it because I was using blueprints. Like, oh, you can't make a game in blueprints. You'll get, and it's like, well, I mean, I'm getting 7 ms, so I think it's fine. So yeah, that's kind of the other reason is the post-processing as well, because this is also using less, because the environment is built better with less, it actually looks stylized. You don't need to have as much post-processing to hide it or to trick you into thinking it's stylized. So if I turn off post-processing and go stat FPS again, the frame rate is now even higher. It's like 150 frames a second. And it's like, and it still actually looks pretty good without the post-processing on anyway. Like, it actually looks kind of decent, even without the bloom. Because the only processing I'm doing is color grading and bloom. And that's an anti-aliasing. And that's it. I'm not doing the Kuwahara paint filter anymore. I'm not doing 2 different blooms at once. I'm not doing, TSAA or whatever, the like motion smoothing. None of that stuff is going on anymore. It's all just FXAA, Gaussian blur, bloom, and color grading. And that's it. That's all the post-processing I need. So that's also why it just runs so much better. And it's also using a different shading model. So instead of using deferred rendering like the old build, this is now using forward rendering, which is older. A lot of people don't use it, but I'm using it. And that is also in part why the frame rate has gone up, because that the day I did that, it went up by like 20 frames when I changed it to forward rendering. It went from like 130 to 150. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So yeah. Intentionality. Even the default test scene looks better. Like the default environment looks better. Then hold on, I'll get the build open again, just to show you I'm not making this up. Because you guys have probably seen the old test level, even with just the grids. You can, because that's where the fake post processing becomes the most noticeable. So if we go back to the build from 2021. Oh, not this one. If we go back here for a sec. See, the menu's fine, except when I open the settings menu. That's still a problem. But if we go 100% render scale, all this stuff, and I was going to show you the example, just the test scene, okay? Just the test scene. You can see the fake post-processing. It's really obvious now. Because this environment has like barely changed. This test environment has barely changed since this moment. Look at it. 75, 11 milliseconds. Bruh. And I can feel it. When I move my mouse around and move Gabby, I can feel it, dude. It's so laggy. It feels so sluggish. It feels like I'm playing in mud right now. And this is how this tests. You can see how it's like the colors are blowing out. You see when I look at the floor, this is supposed to be white, but it looks like sickly gray. That's the over post-processing going on. So if I go show post-processing here, you see how the colors look so different? You see how this looks so washed out by comparison? And you turn the processing, and look, the frame rate. Look at the frame rate when I did that. 180. And then I turn it back on, and it goes, look at the milliseconds. It goes, it's all the way up to 9 milliseconds. And then you turn the post-processing off, and it goes, you see the graph? Dude, that's so funny. It's so funny. And now it feels so smooth. But then you then watch this. Then you go to the new stuff. This is the same environment, by the way. The textures have been changed out a bit. But you see how just with grids and the default dev texture, this just looks better? Like, you guys see it? I'll turn the post-processing back on. So that we're standing roughly in the same spot. I think she's like over here a bit. Even steering her is so sluggish in this version. But yeah, look at that. Even just with the dev texture, you can see a huge difference. Like, you see how more colorful? You see the blue is actually blue. It isn't this weird green. The white is actually white. The shadows are actually dark, where here everything is just weird. And this is on medium. This isn't even on high. This is on medium. And this is on medium too, I think. But the cool thing is, by doing this, even the graphical scale settings don't matter as much anymore. So I don't even need to run the game. Like, I'm running it on medium now, but even if I run it on very high, it doesn't really look that much different. And it shouldn't. I don't want it to look that much different. But if you run this on, let's go very high. Oh no. I gotta restart it because it breaks the lighting too, which is deferred rendering. I love it. Real-time lighting. Like, we love real-time lighting. So now there's more bloom and more post-processing, but the milliseconds are so bad. It's 10 milliseconds, 16 oh, it's crazy. And then you look at this, and it's like this is on very high. The frame rate is a little lower because I've got both running in the background now. This is 110 FPS on very high, and this is on very high. Resolution is slightly lower, 90 FPS, dude. Bro. Huge. Anyway, so I've obsessed over this a bit too long now. So that's what a few years of progress will get you. In short, yeah, that's what'll happen when you become a carer. That's what starts to happen. Anyway, so I'm going to close all that now. We'll get back to the... Oh, where's Photoshop? There we go. We'll get back to the task at hand. So that was I didn't think we'd be looking at that stuff today, but yeah, it's come away, hasn't it? Drone says it's so awesome now. It's so cool. Thank you so much. Stealth says chat. It's peak. Thank you. That's such great news. Angel says, I feel the same way for my own game, which is intentionally designed with an N64 and Wii combo. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds really cool. Using blueprints too? Hell yeah. Well, yeah, that was a thing I dealt with for a while, because I am not a programmer, obviously. As you've seen me trying to code this website, you know that programming is not my specialty. But that's why blueprints is so cool. Because yes, you do make some compromises and trade-offs, but if you know that you're making compromises and you know how to mitigate them, you can cancel out the compromise. Because everyone was telling me, oh, you can't use blueprints, don't do blueprints. But I'm using them and it's fine. And the reason I chose it is because I made a deliberate compromise of, I know that my code is not going to be as optimized as a master, but I'm not a master. And but I am really good at other things. Like, I'm not a great programmer, but programmers can't draw. Programmers can't write music. Programmers can't make videos. Programmers can't make websites. Or they can make they can't design websites. They can code websites, but they can't design. But I can do all that stuff, and I have to do all that stuff for the game. So I don't necessarily have the time and focus to just do programming and be your master at just programming. I have to be good at everything. So that's what blueprints allow you to make that compromise, but you have to be careful because you have to understand that it is a compromise and account for it in other ways, which a lot of the people that were yelling at me over this didn't understand, because a lot of them are just programmers and they only understand programming and nothing else. So to them, if they see that, oh, the programming is slightly bad, ignoring everything else, like the aesthetics or the other things that are important to a game. They will sacrifice that to focus on programming. And what you will notice as well, and the reason I know these people are wrong, the thing is, they are right in a corporate environment. They are right in a team. They are absolutely right, because they can afford to just focus on programming, because everyone else is doing that stuff for them. But if you're not in a company that is doing everything for you, and if you have to do everything, then you do have to care about everything else that isn't programming. And then what happens is, because these programmer types, I see them do this. They're all over the game dev subreddit. You see them everywhere. They're the people that were doing their programming job and they left to, I want to make my own games, but they are just a programmer. So they make a game that looks and feels unappealing, and then they whinge when no one buys it. It's like, no one understands my genius game. I have the most complex mechanics, and it's coded so optimized, and it's so good. But why does no one care? Oh, the game industry's so cooked. And they start whinging about how the gamers, they just don't get it. And it's like, no, you don't get it because it looks bad. It looks unappealing because you have only focused on the code and nothing else. You haven't focused on the impression that your game is leaving. You haven't focused on the aesthetics. You haven't focused on the things that will make people care about your game. And as a result, no one cares. That's kind of when I stopped using Reddit as much, when I realized that pretty much everyone on there was doing that. And that's like, you go and look up any game dev post-mortem and you will notice this pattern everywhere. It's all these little programmer games of people that might be great programmers but are terrible at everything else, and they can only make good code. They can't make good experiences. That's the difference between... So with me, I'm not a great programmer, but the thing I make might be one of those things that people care about anyway. Because that's really the real game you're actually playing. It isn't really... Like, good code matters to a point. There's diminishing returns, though. Anyway, sorry, I gotta stop giving these long rants. But that's... Yeah. Proto by Deathwish says Reddit low-key sucks. It doesn't just low-key suck, it high-key sucks, in my opinion. It is pretty bad. Kyo says, me who has done all those things as a programmer. What do you mean I can't? Well, I mean, I think there are exceptions, because these will be the kind of guys that also will champion that gameplay is all that matters, when it's not quite true. Because when you get that, there are exceptions where you can have a game that is really well coded, that can afford to have bad art that will do well, like Dwarf Fortress or something. But if you actually look closely at those games, they don't have bad art. It's just the art is actually so good that you don't notice that it's good art, and you think it's bad art. Like, people get this with pixel art all the time. People look at pixel art and assume that, oh, well, if I just do pixel art for my game, it'll look appealing or whatever. But there is a lot of bad pixel art. But pixel art doesn't just... If you pick pixel art, it doesn't automatically mean the visuals are bad as well. So when people bring up things like Undertale or something, or Dwarf Fortress, they might use that as, well, you see, graphics don't matter at all. They're just using pixel art. It's like, no, the graphics do matter. Otherwise, they wouldn't have used graphics at all. They would have made a text game. But their pixel art, yes, it looks simple, but it is not. It is actually very sophisticated and well done. You look at, what's that game, Celeste? That's a good example of this too. Everyone underestimates this stuff. You look at Celeste gameplay. People might look at this and go, oh, well, see, I can just be a programmer and learn pixel art, and I don't need to care about aesthetics. I can just do pixel art. No, the people that made this cared about aesthetics. It's just they were really good pixel artists, but they were artists. They had to know more than just how to place pixels. Like, all of the choice to have this brown outline on everything, to have this purple backdrop, the red enemies, that is not just... You don't just do that by doing programmer art. This is a different tier completely than programmer art. This is art. This is real art. Even though people might not think it is because it's made of pixels, But there is, what programmer art. Let's look up what the difference is between pixel art and programmer art. I don't see, you can't even really find any good results for this really, because see, this is just using actual art. This is just using other models. So that isn't quite it. But you guys know what I mean. You've seen this stuff, right? There's no good search results anymore for anything for this stuff. But I don't know. We'll look at Steam front page. Maybe that'll give us some examples. New releases. Or like that stuff we were looking at on the PlayStation Store. When it's not AI art, it's usually programmer art. New releases. Actually, these look kind of cool. Maybe this not quite. This looks a little. Actually, yeah, because the stuff on Steam is this. I guess the stuff I'm thinking of doesn't even make it to Steam in the first place. So this might not be maybe something. This gives me a little bit of that vibe, but this is better than most of the programmer art I've seen. But the picture, this thumbnail is a good example. The actual gameplay looks okay, but this sort of thing, where the logo is the wrong color and it's not drawing enough focus, sort of thing. It's like that kind of stuff that people that just do programming wouldn't notice. Anyway, speaking of art, let me finish off what I was actually supposed to be doing. Now, I need Gabby. I have a folder of renders for Gabby that I will use for my Gabby renders. So did I save this as I don't think I saved this as a picture yet. As a WebP for the website. Feline. No, oh no, I hadn't saved it. Felix portrait, yep. Cool. Now we're gonna get Gabby, our favorite. So I'm gonna save this as a new one for Gabby. Now, I've got some pictures here, and I've got some other ones here too. I think I will use this. Oh. I will use this pose for the moment, for Gabby's one. Or, actually, there is another one that's a bit cooler that I might use. I got a lot of pictures of the model. But there is a really cool pose that I rendered out once that had... it might have been this, or this. All right, well, I've got a lot of pictures in here now. So I got this one. Okay, this is a bit higher res. Oh. There's this one, which is a bit cool. It's very kind of looking behind her. She's right behind me, isn't he? Type pose. And then I've got this one. Actually, this is one of my favorites. I need to actually properly touch this up in Clip Studio at some point to get rid of the jaggies. But I really love the face she makes in this serious. Look at the eyes, man. So cool. I think I'll do this one. This looks cool. Angel says, I'm not that good at like smooth and rounded art, so I do more sharp and jagged style while retaining some detail. But style is that shape over detail. Yeah, well, that's a good style, it sounds like. I like angular edges too. I'm a bit edgy, you could say. I know why is because the shaky hands and fascination with unique artwork, as I find realism pretty boring. Interesting. I love the background rectangle gradient texture, so 2000s. Thank you. Yeah, this was quite a fun background to make. It was inspired by actual 2000s anime cover art too. I think I've shown you this one before. I remember finding this at a used DVD store once, and it was the sickest image I had ever seen. I was like, wow. This left an impression on me. So I was like, I want to make my own version of that. So I tried to sort of do my own little version here with clouds and stuff instead of just blue. But yeah, I noticed that a lot of these things, a lot of character renders of anime from 2000s, they always have this little white outline on them, and they have some gradient on them. Bakugan does a lot of that as well. And I thought, oh, well, I guess that'll be my style now too, I suppose. So I've tried to make it look as kind of just as cool. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I like I also added my own little twist with scan lines to make it look even more analog. Because I don't know. I just like it. So I just want to make sure I'm posing this in the right spot. I think that's good. But yeah, if we break it down into the layers, I've got like this skybox that I bought from somewhere, anime skybox. And then I've got just a white gradient, I think. Yeah, I just put some white gradients in the top and bottom. And then I put this overlay with like a raster dithering or something on it. Scan lines. And that's literally it. It's actually quite simple. It's just a sky with some adjustments, and that's it. And then the character render in the foreground with a white outer glow. And that's how you make a 2000s anime render. Pretty cool, huh? So, all right, let's give this a save. WebP. All right, so now I've got the portraits exported. I then have to find, I think one of them was named wrong though, so I just got to fix that real quick. One of these was named wrong. There we go. Now, this is where the fun begins. I then I go back to the code, and I create I forgot the name of the variable. Oh no, this is in the, I have to copy this still from my Obsidian vault. So real quick, I gotta go to Obsidian first before I go to the code. Thumbnail image, and then you go, because I know exactly where it is and what it's called, I can just type it in. Feline static games, Feline 2025 0704 dash Gabby portrait 600 by 900.webp. And that should take us to, if I was to insert this image here, it should, oh, did I not get it right? Oh no. Website static games, Feline. Oh, wait a sec. Ah. There we go. So if I embed this here, it'll show the image just like that. But I don't want it to show it on the page itself. Or do I? Yes, I do, actually. I want to show it here. I'm going to show it here. That's what I'm going to do. But I also want it to show it on the character screen, so that before we even click on Gabby, it shows it. And that has to be in the front matter of the document here. And then I'm just going to give this alt text. We'll call this Gabby portrait for the alt text, so that when you click on the page, you get this picture and then the stats. What I would like, though, is to be able to put these side by side, but that is beyond my programming abilities for the moment. I don't know how to do that yet. Unless I write some custom CSS class just for these types of pictures somehow. But that'll take a bit, so I won't do that for the moment. But we'll do the other character. Oh, this is Calder's page. Oops, this wasn't meant to go here. Oh, no problem, because all I have to do is just change this to Calder's name, and it'll do Calder. Epic. So we'll get we'll then get those attachments over to the rest of the cast. This is Felix. And then Gabby, finally. Oh. And I also have to fix these links. This is a wiki link, not a markdown link. No, it's turned into a typing ASMR stream now. I'm going to minimize some of these so I can see you guys still. Angel says, in case you're wondering, I don't draw fingers because they are just pretty useless and conflicts the whole shape's detail style. Well, that is an interesting reason to not draw fingers. I love fingers. They're my favorite things to draw, but to each their own style. I guess you could always do mitten hands. If it's angular and stylized enough, you could do that. I don't have Photoshop, so you're talking to a proud critter and GIMP user. Ah, I see. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I will be a Photoshop user for a while to come still. I did try going down the Foss rabbit hole a while back, but unfortunately, it just wasn't there yet. I hope it is someday, though, because I am looking for the earliest chance I can get to abandon Adobe completely. But until there is I need something that basically does exactly what Photoshop does exactly, except it just isn't owned by Adobe. That's all I want. But I haven't come across a comparable thing yet that lets me work how I want to work. That's sort of my most important axiom. All right, so I think I've got all the links fixed to be markdown links. Oh, except I didn't add the suffix. Okay, portrait's done, little bio's done. I still got to figure out where to get the right stats from eventually, but that's not as important. So then what I do to get this on the site This is where the magic happens. I have to open Visual Studio now, I think. No, I have to get my File Explorer. And I got to take the stuff I've just done, wherever it is. So I've got to go to Content, Games, Feline, and I'm just going to copy all this over again. And we'll go to, I have another folder for the website, which is on a GitHub repository. So my Obsidian notes are not on GitHub. Should they be? I don't know, maybe. I'm not personally, do not want to put all of my notes on GitHub. But just, I've got a separate folder on another part of my hard drive for the website, which organizes it a little different, but it's using the content from my vault. So I was trying to write that script last week so that it automatically copies it, but again, I wasn't able to get that working. So what I'm doing for the moment is just going manually, copying it, but this is the attachments folder. I want to go to the content folder. We'll replace all this with the new stuff. There will need to be some manual tweaking to fix some links, but first we'll get all the attachments as well. So if I go to, so that's the website folder. This is the vault. In the vault folder, I'll go to the vault attachments folder. Oh no, that's the website folder too. Oh wait, did I copy them the wrong way around? I think I might have. Silly me. Did I just do that? I think I just did that. This is why I really need to sort out my backup drive situation soon. I think I might have just copied them the wrong way around. Yo, it's awesome. Let me check, because it's easy to get lost in all these. Yes, I did copy them the reverse way around. All right, well, I'll fix that later. We'll just get the attachments first. Yeah. Because the folders look identical, because they mostly are, except one of them's in a different spot, so it's annoying. That's the first time that's happened, though. Okay, I've done a great job at organizing it until this very moment, when I'm trying to stream and do it at the same time. That's why I work on it in private, so that I'm completely focused. So I got to make sure, because this is called website, but this is not the website folder. This is the Obsidian Vault. So I want to copy the attachments over to, this is the website folder. God damn. It's in, oh, where's static? There we go. Oh, let me double check first. This is the Feline folder. Okay, I don't want to copy everything. Oh no, I've got both. Oh no, I've lost which folder's which one. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I think I've got it now. Notes. Yeah, okay. So if I go games. No, that's not the attachments folder. Damn it. Okay, I think I've got the attachments folder. I'm just going to copy the portraits individually. This is the website folder. Oh, the portraits are, wait, the portraits are there already. Wait a second. Maybe I did copy it right. Okay, the portraits are already there. Okay. In that case, I don't know, man. We'll go. All right. Well, let's go back to the actual. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me double check. Okay. Well, yeah, this copied all wrong. So I did make a mistake. But for the sake of showing it off, I'll fix it off stream because it's way too boring. But to show this off so that you guys can see something cool, I'm just going to add this to the website copy at the moment. I'll add the front matter here for the moment. Where's the attachment? Hold on. It should be in static feline. Here we go. Gabby portrait. Copy path. Oh, not like that. It's got the slashes all the wrong way around. So that should work for the site. I'm just going to get rid of this. And we'll also embed that that picture into the actual thing. And then we'll do the other characters. So if I go to... God, I'm getting something in my throat. So, am I getting sick with something else now? I hope not. I'm kind of a bit over getting sick. I've had enough of getting sick this year. Had enough. Now with, there's a weird little trick here I got to remember to do. When you embed images, you have to do it with a leading, I think they call it a leading slash. Or I don't know if that's the right word. But there's got to be a slash in front, otherwise it won't work. So I've got to make sure I do that. And then Felix finally. So this won't have all the stats and bios updated properly. I'll do that off stream. But you'll get an example of like how you can make content with this sort of system. So now the site should still be running. I'm going to close File Explorer. I'm going to open the site. Not the BOGO zone, not that one. This is taking up so much RAM. Let's close all these tabs. Let's get out of here. All right, so now my site is here. If we go to Project Feline and open it, we'll get a characters, and it's still not working. Wait a sec. No, this can't be. How could this happen? Let me reload. Doing a tactical reload. What? Okay. Well, that's not great. Maybe the attachments didn't copy after all. Let me check. If I go to documents, notes. Sorry, this is so boring. Let me talk about something interesting. Let's save the stream. Let's up those stream numbers. Isn't Affinity Vector? It is? Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I was because I really didn't get vector art for a while, but I've been using Illustrator a bit lately for some logo work, and it's an unwieldy tool, but I'm getting it to do what I want, and it's nice. Using vectors is quite nice. Now I just got to double check. No, this is not the right folder. There's another one, website. There we go. Static portraits. So I want to copy those, and then I want to go to websites. Static. Feline. Oh, the portraits are there. All right. Well, why aren't they working? See, this is the other frustrating thing when trying to use this system, is that it just doesn't work half the time. Maybe this needs to be in quotations. I don't know. Nope, it does not work. Those are... Yeah, it's in the right... I'm referencing the right folder. Oh, this is also using Calder's portrait. I'm just going to copy the file name directly and see if I've mistyped it or something. Because it worked in Obsidian. All right, well, that's exactly verbatim the file name, but it isn't showing on the site. Why? If I stop Hugo and rerun it, okay, still nothing. All right, well, that's really frustrating because I was hoping to have this cool end of the stream where I showed you all the character portraits working, and now it's not working. That always happens every time I try to. It never happens when I'm not streaming. When I'm just working normally and I do programming, it works. But the minute I decide to stream it, everything stops working. Every time. Why is that not working? Did I not name the front matter properly? Maybe that could be, maybe this variable is named wrong. That could be the only reason. No, oh, it uses an underscore, not a dash. God, got me. Got him. But that doesn't explain why. Right, let's try that now. Still no. Come on. Oh, we got one working. Yes. 2 working. 3. Hey, we got it. Yeah. Look at that. But then the actual portraits don't show on the page for some reason. I don't know why that is. Because it's supposed to show the portrait on the page. Oh. If I don't have any alt text, it shows it missing. That's weird. Huh. All right, well that's something I'll have to figure out later. So it knows where the image is in the gallery view, but not when I open the pages. That is interesting. Huh. Well, at least it's kind of working. It's sort of working for the moment. I'll get rid of the unused characters for a sec. You're not meant to know about them yet. There we go. So that's how it... yeah, look at that. So that's how I want it to look. I've got these sick portraits of each of the characters. And it's not... I got to get the dates. I don't know how to get those off. I got to get rid of those. Actually, there is a way... I think there is a way to do that, actually. Really quick. If I... Oh, and now it's the site stopped working. If I go to... How do I get rid of this? I don't want outline. If I go to... themes, layouts, and if I make, I'm gonna copy the one for games. Can I make a copy of that? And then paste. We'll rename this to characters. I don't know if that'll actually work if I name it like that. But if I just take that and get rid of the date, it might... Okay, it won't work. Damn it. And now the entire site is not working. It says I have a spelling error somewhere now. That's lovely. Let's try that again. Still shows the dates. Oh, you have to like put it in this... Hold on. You gotta make a new folder. Oh, I've already got a folder. Oh, yeah. So I'll move it. You then gotta make a folder called like Feline. And then in here you put the list. I think it has to be like that. And then it might work. I don't like programming. It's coarse, rough, it's irritating. It gets everywhere. Oh, the dates are still there. Okay, there's got to be some other way to do it then. But yeah, the way it works for everything else is that if you have a folder with a list defined and you tell it what to do, it means anything that's in that same directory in the content will do whatever that says. So it means that if I have games feline characters and I have a corresponding games feline characters folder and make that a list. Oh, it might I might have to move this up a folder, actually. I'll try that. I think that could be it. It might not, but maybe. Okay, maybe not. But if I go and click on games, because I don't want the dates showing here either. I don't know, maybe this isn't supported by Hugo, what I'm trying to do. Because I'm trying to make it so that anything inside this folder, list, if you go to games and then the list view for games will have dates, but any list pages inside the Feline folder won't. That's what I'm trying. That's what it should do. And all those pages that I'm trying to show are in the Feline folder. At least, yeah, they are in the Feline folder, but they're in the characters, Feline and characters folder. But I guess, I don't know, for whatever reason, it doesn't work that way in that instance for some reason. Even it does work. This thing will work for everything else, but it doesn't work when doing this specific thing for some reason. It's always like that. But if I'll try and refresh it one more time. But at least we got them kind of working. It's just there's these dates on them for some reason. I can't get rid of those. I'll have to. I'm sure there's got to be some way to do it. But yeah, that's pretty cool though. Got the nice portraits. I think I have a current version of this on the website. Loads way slower, of course, because it's in Wix. But I've got these portraits, which don't look as cool in my opinion. And so you sort of compare the portraits. These I think are looking much better than these. Especially Gabby. And you can actually, because this is all just on one page, whereas here I can have them as individual pages and these little thumbnails. So I can put like a full size render of the character here and have like a full body cutout, which I think would be pretty cool. That's what I'd like to do. But yeah, so there we have how to make gallery views in Hugo for web dev. Yeah, sorry if that was a bit boring. But, you know, it's part of the plan. It's part of the vision. This is what these guys are doing too. Any cool indie game has all got these sick little websites. So I gotta plant the seeds so that they may one day sprout into a beautiful ecosystem. Cybershell says characters look sick like trading cards. Oh man, that is kind of cool actually. Well, hold on a sec, because doesn't Steam have some kind of trading card system? Maybe I've just solved that problem right now, because I don't know what the whole I don't really know how it works, but most games I see, if there isn't trading cards, people ask, can you make trading cards of them? And I guess now I've got pictures to use for those. I don't know if it fits the requirements for Steam, but yeah. Thank you though. S1 says Project Feline's going to be the best looking indie game I've seen devlogs for. Thank you so much. That is a huge honor, my friend. Well, that's what I'm hoping to be. It does mean that the devlog goes on longer for most games, but if it ends up looking like the best game, I think that's pretty cool. That's what I'd like to do that. So thank you. I'm glad to hear it. You could edit the CSS to do opacity 0. Oh yeah, but like, come on, that's not really. That's even you say it's if you're feeling lazy. Look, if there's one thing I never feel, it is lazy. Okay, I got to find the right way of doing it. It is tempting though, but I just want to find the right way, because then it's still writing the text. It's just making it invisible. So I don't know. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, but the gallery is dynamic too. So if you zoom in real close, it scales it to fit more or less on the screen. So if you make it like super wide, it'll fit 4 per column and stuff. So it'll work on mobile, in case you're ever worried about that sort of thing. This will work on mobile. So that's something else that took a while to get working. But But yeah, but no, I'm not going to cheat and just go display none or opacity 0. No. I've got to find the right way. But I'll figure it out a bit later. There is some other things requiring my attention for the moment that I want to get through today. But I'm glad I was able to at least get the portraits. Cosmic says, Ray, how's it going? Good. I just got these portraits to work. But it's still not 100%, but because I got these random dates at the bottom, but the portraits show up, and that's really cool. But to answer the rest of that question, which I haven't talked about yet on this stream, is the storage situation, which I talked about last week. So for those who don't know, when you're doing digital work, backing your work up is a good idea, and you should be doing it. It's like the bare minimum that you should be doing. I, however, have cheaped out for a while, and this is a problem. I have a single little backup drive on my desk that doesn't actually have enough space to back up everything I'm doing. This has been a problem for a few years now, and I've been researching far and wide for a storage solution and a plan to fix this. Last week, I had come up with something, and it was a bit complicated, and I was having a lot of trouble researching the plan because of the amount of AI sewage infecting and diluting the information. So I couldn't really learn about any of how proper storage or anything like that works, because half the stuff I was finding is just auto-generated and non-informative. So I was able to do a little more research this week. Again, I've mostly just been sick, so I haven't been able to go full hard on more research. I was hoping to have it sorted by the end of the financial year, but that didn't happen. But I've still been going, and what I think I'm going to do is a RAID 1 instead of a RAID 5, because RAID 5 is just complicated. It's too complicated. RAID 1 is simple, and it seems to have less of those issues with what's the word? Integrity. That's it. Redundancy, integrity. It seems that with RAID 1, there's less problems. So I have a hard drive picked out for my backup drive now. It's some QNAP unit thing that looks like exactly what I want, that has hardware RAID, and that's great. But now it's just finding not a software one. I'm trying to avoid software RAID. It's now just trying to find a flash storage unit to use as my main storage, which will then back up to this hard drive I'm going to buy. That's been the next challenge, and it's been a bit more complicated because flash storage is newer, and I don't know. It's just been hard, mostly because there is just so much bad resources and bad information and slop when you try to type in anything, searching like RAID storage, try to Google this stuff. Like, yes, you'll have articles from like Western Digital, but obviously they're writing this to sell you Western Digital hard drives, and it's not fully comprehensive. It's got some stuff in there, but there's a lot of stuff they aren't mentioning. You try to go even more, then you get Reddit, which used to be pretty decent, but then a lot of people here just kind of bicker and argue, and you get contradicting information usually, where it's like, oh, well, this user said this, and he's wrong, and this is why. And it's just a non-stop, never-ending ping pong of this, who's right? Is it this person or this person? And I don't know. So then you keep looking around, and then eventually, after a few pages, you find AI stuff, and none of it is comprehensible at all. And yeah, so I've been like going to libraries, physical libraries, to like try and research this now, and it's just yeah, it's made me think a lot about like the internet in general and like what the hell's going on, because something is going on. The internet is like decaying before my eyes, which is why I think this website I'm building is so important that I do. And that's evidently other people having the same idea. Like this studio is doing the same thing, and the Signalist studio, they're doing the same thing. I think everyone's starting to slowly realize that having your own little website is the antidote to like the cultural rot that's going on right now with social media and search engines. Because what's so insidious is that everyone thinks that that is the internet when it actually isn't. It's just the main part of the internet most of us use, but there's so much more out there. So I have been trying to dig through also like forums and other sorts of things on research, like written by humans on like how to go about a good, sensible backup solution. It's just frustrating because it used to be so easy to learn this. It used to take like a second of Google searching. Now it takes weeks of spelunking through forums to find anything valuable, and it's made me very, very cranky. So I've got a lot to say about it, but thanks so much, Snupbill, for the gifted sub. Really appreciate that, man. Appreciate that so much. You're a real one. I really like infinite scroll websites. Jokes, this is stick. Shut up, Frosty. I don't know, man. I really love doom scrolling. No, we gotta stop the scrolling. Because isn't that interesting too with the old forums where you research things with? Like Polycount. This is where I was learning a lot of 3D art stuff. I don't know. Yeah, Polycount, right? You notice how you can't really infinitely scroll. Like, it's categorized properly into topics like this. I don't think... Look, because I wasn't really using... I was a bit too... I was too young to kind of experience the peak of forums. But this is actually perfect, like, as a format for communication in a mass with a mass group of people, because I can't doom scroll this forum. Like, there's an end and it's categorized and nothing is getting written here that isn't to do with some actual, that has a point that is to do with one of these topics. So like critiques or something. These probably get a lot more activity because it's just critique. But see, Instagram or something, to find anything valuable there or on Google, you don't get to browse Google like this where you get topics or whatever. You just get an infinite doom scroll list, and oh man, it's bad. I don't like it. So yeah, Protobyte says the internet is going back to its origins because the corporate greed is kind of funny. Well, here's the thing. I don't believe it is corporate greed. No. I know this is going to sound kind of hot, but it doesn't, I don't believe it's corporate greed because it doesn't make sense that it's corporate greed, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not a corporation. I'm not a financialist. Okay. So I'm not an expert on money, clearly, but, I have a feeling the voices in my head are telling me that this is not corporate greed, because the corporate greed, what do most people think? What do we all think the incentive is? What's corporate greed mean? It means having the most money. But if your goal was to have the most money, you would be doing this. You would be doing what these guys are doing and what I'm trying to do here. You would be going back to old internet if your goal was to make the most money. Because this is valuable. It is worth money. Polycount forum is worth money. Hopefully my website will be worth money or something, valuable in some way. Even like lately, instead of, I did something a few months ago because I was trying to find like good videos to watch, and I couldn't find them on YouTube. And I instead like sent a few bucks to a creator on some other weird platform. It was like their own platform. It wasn't like Patreon or something. It was like their own thing. And you pay like $1 and you get access to their whole catalog. Because I usually never do that, but I did that and I actually had the best time of my life. It was some of the best content I'd seen. But it means that you can't just settle with what's for free on your phone. But if you are a greedy corporation and your only incentive is I want money, that's what you would be doing. You wouldn't be using social media, really, I don't think. You would be doing, like the platform stuff where you pay premium for the content. And for it to be premium, it has to be good. So it's stuff like this where you've got like high quality advice or whatever, where people are subscribing to keep the site alive. To me, that seems like what greed would do. But it is more than just greed. It's value. If you are, and if you look at it in a different way, where you're a shareholder or something, because YouTube has been doing this as well. This will be my last little rant before I go, because I don't know how many of you have started noticing this, but even if you go on YouTube, it doesn't show here because I'm not logged in, but you guys have started noticing that they're putting games on the YouTube homepage, like Flappy Birds or Crossy Roads and all this stuff. I don't understand, like, this stuff. Like, they're putting mobile games on YouTube. Playables. All right. Hold on. Can I type that in? youtube.com/playables? Does that actually come up with anything? Yeah. This stuff. And it's like, who is playing these? Who is making these? These look garbage. Like, am I the only one that thinks this is just junk? Am I just too prudish, or is this so weird? Am I the only one that thinks this is weird? Protobyte says it's made for you to spend the most amount of time on their platform and see ads. Perhaps, but here's the thing. Because you notice how YouTube's had a tough time with ad blockers lately, right? People want to be on YouTube, but they don't want to see the ads, and they're blocking them. And then YouTube is trying to counter that and go, no, you have to turn off your blocker to see the... So how much will people... This is my question. How much of Tall Man Run and all this other junk are people going to take before they leave? That's what I'm wondering. How much bloat, how much junk can a person take before they leave and the ad dollars become debased because nobody is watching the ads, because no one wants to be on the website? How much can they take? And when you're thinking in the mind of a greedy shareholder, and look, I don't know how these people think, but if I had to guess, if you want to be the best shareholder on the planet, you look at the richest people on the planet. What do they all do? Okay, you guys ever heard of this dude, Warren Buffett? You guys heard of this guy? He's like the richest person ever, supposedly. You know how he became a multi-billionaire? $152 billion net worth. You know how he did that? He bought and held for decades. That's how he bought stocks. He wasn't doing what everyone thinks shareholders do, where they're only looking at, oh, did we get the top profits this quarter? This is not how good shareholders think. They don't think like in quarters. They think in decades. So the justification here might be, oh, well, the quarterly ad revenue numbers are up, so that means it's good. But if you're actually a shareholder, like a smart shareholder that is actually worth money, like, which is what I imagine if your goal was to have the most money, like $150 billion, you'd be thinking like this, where it's like over the long term, over the decades, what is going to be the most value? What will give me the biggest return in the next 20 years? That's how, if you are just wanting the most money, you would think like this guy. So I don't think it's greed. Because if you were greedy, you couldn't afford to fall for this stuff. You couldn't afford to fall to temptation to short-term quarterly incentives, because it would destroy the long-term viability. Because I'm not spending as much time on YouTube now, which means I'm watching less ads, which means it's actually going to cost them money. And now that might not cost them for me to do that, but in 10 years from now, if all of us get sick of this, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? All of the viewers are so sick of us that they're not even watching YouTube anymore, and all of our ad money, no one's watching ads, so we have no money. What's going to happen? Have they thought that far ahead? I don't know. Maybe they have some contingent, maybe it's all part of the plan or something, but I have a feeling that this is not greed doing this, but something else. And I don't know what that something else is, but if it is greed, it would have to be to the degree that the shareholders have suddenly lost the ability to defer gratification for some reason, which doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, if you are a shareholder and you're rich, you aren't that stupid. you would know better. You would see this coming and you would go, oh, yes, we have all these playables and all this stuff, but like people are leaving. Maybe now it's not a problem. Maybe now the adoption is up, but it just from a value proposition standpoint, if all the videos are AI generated and all the games are slop and they're actually just not good, is it even worth being free? And is there just better places to go? And if that ends up happening, if the shareholders know that they're doing that okay, there's these things that we're adding that are going to create incentives in the future for people to leave, surely they would see that coming and do something about it so that over the long term they would have more money if greed was their actual motivation. But I don't think that's what it is, man. I think that something much deeper and much more insidious is happening. And what's sad is that the thing it probably is we probably wouldn't even be allowed to talk about it, even if we figured out what it was. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure if I did figure it out, you wouldn't be able to even talk about it. That's what I think. So it's just a bit terrifying, man. Each week I look at it, it just gets worse, and it's got to stop, man. So I don't know. What do you guys make of that? Am I not seeing things clearly, or is there something else going on here besides le money or le greed or whatever? I don't know. I think there's more to it. Some guy says you don't have to make value if you extract value from others and starve them. The companies aren't trying to be useful. They are trying to be the only thing in town. Maybe. But surely, if everything in the town is bad, people leave the town. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm leaving the town and I'm making my own town right here. So, at some point, because the other towns are coming back, you look at what people are doing here with GeoCities right now. No, sorry, NeoCities. You look at what people are doing. These, to me, all look like budding seeds that will become the other towns YouTube will be competing with. I know it doesn't look impressive now, but that's kind of the point. These look like little seedlings, but these will grow into massive redwoods at some point. And that's going to be a threat to them. What are they going to do about it? What's their plan? I don't know if they could compete with this I'm thinking in the future here. I'm thinking like 15 years from now. Would they be able to compete if the value on these sites is just better? The quality is just better. Can you really compete with quality with numbers alone? That's going to be the real question, I think. So, I don't know. Crovis says people who use ad blockers are irrelevant or small. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are a small percentage for now. They are small for now. But, I don't know. I just don't see how people can tolerate how bad it's getting. I don't know. Because, I don't know. There's still the factor of 20 years being quite a gamble to sit on. That is also true. But I don't know. It's just, I just don't, when I think ahead to the future, I just don't see YouTube existing. Like, and this isn't by choice. I don't want to think this. This is what the voices tell me, okay? And they're always right. I don't like listening to them, but every time the voices tell me that this is going to happen, it always happens. And the voices are telling me in 20 years, YouTube will not exist, or if it does, it will be completely foreign. It'll be a completely different planet. It'll be unrecognizable, and it'll be YouTube in name only. And I think that has already happened when you compare YouTube to 2009 YouTube. It's already happened, but it's going to keep going to a logical conclusion. And I don't think I want to find out where that is. I don't know if I want to find that out, really. I don't think it's where I belong, which is kind of where, at least that's why I care about it. Because I can't fix YouTube, but I feel like I don't belong into the destination it's striving towards. So that's why I care about it, and why it's not where Project Feline belongs, because ultimately the fate of the game is all. That's why I care as well. Is that it's all interconnected. The fate of the game will depend on this because the internet. That's how I interact with all of you here. That's how you guys know about the game. The internet is how I'm going to distribute the game. Because you don't really think about it, how much we take the internet for granted because it's just there. But over the last couple years, as I've been working on the game and building an audience, I start to notice that this infrastructure that I depend on, that I really depend on for everything, is rotting. And if it is allowed to rot, then my vision will be impossible to achieve. So that's why I think about it a lot, because it doesn't just affect me as a developer or as a content creator or whatever. It affects all of you guys as well as consumers, because I don't know, like, it affects because you see this happening in video games too, where there's so many video games, and the amount of good video games hasn't changed, but the amount of video games getting published has gone up. And that actually does have an effect on the good games because it makes them harder to find. So there's I don't know how deep I want to go into this. I don't have much time, so I won't. But I did write up a full essay on my Patreon yesterday of all of these ideas. If you want to read more about it and support indie creators, I would very much appreciate it. And I've written up some solutions on what I think we need to do. One of which is building your own websites, of course. But there's a bit more to it as well. But yeah, check out my Patreon if you wanted the full essay on what's going on. Max Matthew says, if YouTube didn't exist, who replacing it daily motion video, etc. Oh, I haven't heard of those sites in a long time. I'm curious if they have similar issues. I've heard of Vimeo. I don't know, maybe I should look at those again sometime, because I completely forgot those sites existed. Because yeah, YouTube is technically supposed to serve the same purpose as those. It's meant to just be video hosting. But I haven't heard of Vimeo or Dailymotion having problems like this. Some guy says, you're betting people know there is better. I look at people my age, they don't know how to use computers anymore. They only know Instagram and TikTok? No. Are you serious? Are you messing with me right now? Are you serious? How old are these people? You telling me the kids these days can't use computers? No. Is it chat, are we cooked? Is it over? Is the digital superhighway cooked? Costa says, there is literally nothing like YouTube. No one has anywhere else to go. Well, yeah, I guess what I would think to do is figure out what it is about YouTube, and it's not videos, but there is something about YouTube that makes it valuable as a place to visit, or that did make it valuable. I think that's gone, the thing that I personally think it is. Because I don't want to get too deep into this today, but do you guys remember like the 20... I don't know how old most of you guys are really, but I'm assuming you're around my age if you're watching me. And I remember when YouTube was like... let's go to Internet Archive. I remember when it was like there were top creators on YouTube. We had Smosh, we had Ryan Higa, we had Kev Jumba, we had Ray William Johnson, we had PewDiePie, we had Wong Fu Productions, we had creators. That was kind of what YouTube was in 2011. And that's what when I first started using the internet the most, I was using this era of YouTube more like an indie site now. You notice how that old YouTube used to look like an indie site? And like custom backgrounds. And you notice how everything is about the individual numbers wise, but you weren't like following a trend or a video or a specific video. You were watching Smosh. You weren't watching like the things they were specifically doing. You were watching them for them. And I feel like that, who's the top YouTube channel now? What's the most subscribe? Who is it now? Mr. Beast? He's not, is he serious? Okay, all right, sure, it's Mr. Beast. I was like, there's no way he's actually I thought it would have been some corporation, but I guess, same thing pretty much. But let's look at the top creators now. So, first thing, profile picture is not, it's a symbol, it's not a face. Smosh is, it's the two guys. It's that Anthony and Ian. The profile picture here is like a demonic beast. Interesting choice. I'm sure that's just an accident, though. I'm sure that isn't subliminal. I'm sure that isn't a Freudian slip at all. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. And what's the content itself? You notice how all of this is super impersonal? How none of this actually has to do... Who's Mr. Beast's name? What's even this guy's name, Mr. Beast? See, at least on old YouTube, it's like, oh, it's Smosh, but Smosh is Ian and Anthony. We know who Ian and Anthony are. They're our neighborhood... It's the neighborhood kids. It's our friends. Who the hell is this guy? What's his... Like, all right, Jimmy Donaldson. You notice how none of this tells me anything about Jimmy Donaldson. I don't know anything about him. Looking at, like, top 5 romantic date... Whatever, I don't even want to click on any of these. I don't want to click on any of these because it's going to just be a complete portal to the realm here. But you notice how this is just reality TV? Like, this doesn't tell me... The videos are about the contestants, not about the guy. Whereas oh, this is much better. All the videos are about, like, the guys, you know? This does not feel like an American suburb. This feels like a cyberpunk city, an overpopulated cyberpunk city where you don't know anyone, where nobody, like, I don't know, like, I know this sounds kind of weird and ephemeral here, but is it just me that, like, feels that? I know that you can't quantify this with evidence or sources or numbers, but you can feel something is different. Codicil says, I used to love Ryan Higa. Me too. That was like what inspired me to even want to make YouTube videos. He was a huge influence for me. But there is never going to be another Ryan Higa ever on YouTube. It won't happen. If it continues going the way this is going, aged. I know he's got some podcast stuff here, but if we go, oh man, I don't think so. Something's not, oh man, I don't think so. Something's not... I don't know, man. Mr. Beast literally made a tool to AI generate his thumbnails. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Wow, yeah, sorry. A lot of messages here now. Keo says, it's not a big shareholders that are the problem. It's the short-sighted younger holders who are just trying to make micro gains on the stocks. Maybe so, but they will pay a price for that, and so will we, sadly. Mr. Beast or T-Series? Oh, T-Series. I remember these guys. Isn't this just like the Bollywood channel? Yeah. Like, who watches these? I don't understand who watches these. This looks so bad. I don't know. Maybe this is beyond me. I don't get this. But it's like, in 40 years, no one is going to be singing War Song full audio. I just see it. I just don't see any of this as classic, you know? And yeah, music can change whatever. But I remember this channel, there was a huge event that happened. This was like maybe 2018. I think this was the channel that overtook PewDiePie, wasn't it? And this was a huge deal. I don't know how many of you Zoomers remember. I remember this when this happened. I was there when T-Series took over from PewDiePie. And I remember it was a big deal, and everyone was super obsessed with wanting to keep PewDiePie as number one. And then eventually, you know, they overtook him. And it did feel like something changed, but it wasn't huge. Like, I remember the sense of defeat everyone felt, and that it was like, oh, at the end, everyone kept saying the end of an era. But I don't think we realized just how really end of an era that was. And then gradually, slowly, things started changing, because Mr. Beast wasn't a thing back then. T-Series was like kind of a joke at the time, but now they're a huge thing. And I don't know, it felt like that was the last era. It was like 2018 was like the last year. And since then, because that's when I started making videos, funny enough. And as I've been doing my devlogs, for a while, I thought we were still in that world. But as I've kept working on my series and working on the game, I've come to realize that that is not the world we're living in anymore. And it sucks. Like, I don't like the new world, man. I want to go back to the BOGO zone. I want to go here, into this world, you know? And, I don't know. We got to do something. People in India, supposedly. Oh, like who watch T-Series? Okay, well, I'm not going to comment on that. Remember when you could send video messages on YouTube comments? Wait, you could do that? I had no idea. I had no idea you could do that. Man, what the hell happened? Well, oh, wait a minute. No, was that like the reply thing? Video response? Is that the same thing? Because I remember that was a thing. And then you had the reply girls that would kind of bait videos by just making video replies. Oh, man, I miss when that was the biggest problem. Oh my God. But, oh yeah. So I think if I remember right, YouTube used to have this feature where you could make a video response to someone else's video, and it would show next to the guy's video. So if I was to make a video, like if I was to go on one of my devlogs or something, someone could make a video response to my video. Like if I was to open this. This is the way it used to work, I think. And again, I wasn't making videos at the time, so I don't know if this is accurate, but if I remember correct, like you could make a video response to this and it would show on the sidebar. So that was like, oh, related videos. And it's like, you know, Kev Jumba's response video to this or whatever. And you could see like other people chiming in on the topic of the video. But you notice how everything here has like nothing to do with this video? It's just like, what's going on? Video game flops of the 90s. Like what he won't stop killing, and it's just like YouTube drama usually. And it's like, okay. It's not how it used to be. We don't make recommendations like we used to back then. Mr. Beast was a thing back then? Oh, okay. I hadn't heard of him until a couple years ago. He only had 10 million subs though. Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry. Well, isn't that an interesting thing too, where there are so many creators now that have millions of subscribers that you've never heard of? Like there's been some yeah, you guys in YouTube, there's always drama going on, but there was some thing going on lately with some streamer. We'll just search up drama, and like I've never heard of any of these people. Okay, well, this isn't the sort of stuff I was... But you search... Because this is most of at least what I try to get shoved to me now. I have no idea who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who she is. Like, who are these people? I've never heard of these people. I know who Jerry Seinfeld is, though. But back in old YouTube, you knew who everyone was. You knew who the top people were. You knew who Smosh was and Ryan Higa. And all those people, and like Wong Fu and Epic Mealtime, like you knew anyone with more than 1 million subscribers, you knew who they were. Now you get them all the time, and no, like, I don't even know. Like, I don't feel like I belong here, right? Like, these are all strangers. I have no idea who these people are. And it makes it very, I guess, lonely, you could say, when there's so many people that you don't know, that you kind of can't afford to know because there's too many. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't bother most people, and that's fine, but it kind of bothers me a lot. Coesta says, unrelated, but Stop Killing Games thing is wild. Glad to see initiative getting traction. I've heard about that. It's if I remember right, it's that whole thing of someone showed me this guy. Maybe this is another example of what I'm trying to explain as well, because this guy that's doing this initiative, I've like been loosely following it. But this guy who's doing the initiative, he seems like he feels like an OG. But you know, most people have probably not heard of this person. I hadn't heard of him until this year. And one of you guys on my Discord told me about him and showed me some of his old videos with Freeman. What was it? It was like some Half-Life thing where he would do... This was from a long time ago, so bear with me here. But he had this old... Yeah, Freeman's Mind. And he basically plays through Half-Life and gives commentary as if he was in the mind of Gordon Freeman. And dude, I watched like the first episode. It was so funny, man. It was so good. And he's done so many of them too. And this was 10 years ago. And it's 10-year-old video. You would never see it in the recommended anymore. But it's really good. You'd still, like, I would want to watch this. I want this in my recommendation. I want this guy's entire catalog in my recommendation. But because it's 9 years ago, 6 years ago, YouTube's like, no. You want to see what was posted 4 days ago by some other random person you've never heard of. It's like, screw you. No, I want to watch this guy. But yeah, this initiative he's been putting together, I don't know much about the in and out technicals of it, but he seems quite committed to it. And the gist of it, from what I can gather, is that he wants to make it illegal for, because I want to word this carefully. I don't want to misrepresent it here, because I haven't looked into it thoroughly enough to do it justice. You should really go watch his videos about it. But from what I understand, it's like he doesn't want companies pulling the plug on live service games, and he's trying to change the legislation to disincentivize that and make it so that if you have a live service multiplayer game, like there was a certain game that I think kicked this off, right? It was the Crew, I think. I don't know. I haven't played it. I think it's when that game got shut down, he decided we got to do something. I think, yeah, I remember it was like this video, I think I had watched. Or actually, he's made quite a few of these now. But yeah, he's been, good on him, I reckon. Unfortunately, I'm not, because he's got this European petition going on, and I'm not in Europe, so I can't sign it. So I would recommend, if you're interested in this sort of thing, read about it first and decide if this is what you want. And, you know, sign it if you agree with it. Looks pretty cool. But I don't know, like, it's... The thing is, though, is that I wish this guy, Ross, or Curse Farms, I wish I had found out about him before this, because this seems like the kind of community that YouTube should be for, but this is very rare. I had seen this video of his as well. The UI should be better. This is a great video. This is a really well done video. And... But because it's 5 years old, the algorithm was not going to show it to you. And that sucks. But it is really good. I had to really go digging to find that one. But yeah, so I guess to tie into what I was talking about earlier, that this is what I want to be the norm in terms of a YouTube channel. But also, yeah, his thing with Stop Killing Games is... He seems like the kind of guy that appreciates permanence, which is why he's probably started this whole thing. And his channel has permanence too. It's just on it's just unfortunate that the platform he's on, YouTube, doesn't respect permanence. So he's been quite lucky that he's been able to rally this community around, despite all of YouTube's incentives to not do this. YouTube's incentives is to turn you into a Bollywood channel, and this guy has managed to, like, it feels really authentic from just looking around at it, right? But yeah. And I don't know where I was going with this, but check out his initiative, check out his whole channel, check out his whole catalog. It's quite good. Keo says he wants them to not just destroy games when they end the service, specifically either leave the game in a playable state or give players the means to do it themselves. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, so I don't really understand the technicals of all of these things. Funny enough, actually, the games that I do play are old. Like, the multiplayer games I do play are old and are probably immune from this problem. So what I'm guessing then is is there a website? I'm sure there's got to be. He's got a The Cursed Farms site. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this is actually kind of nice. Man, well, now I don't even need to follow his YouTube channel. I'm going to follow his website. Does he have a thing for the initiative? He's got the video. So even this guy has his own site. Everyone's doing it now. But you see how the related video... Dude, this is awesome. You see how See, this is the problem. I was trying to watch him on YouTube. That was my mistake. See, I should be watching him on his website. Because you see how the recommended here is like... It's like, oh, cool. Like, it isn't just random slop. It's called random videos, but these are his. And they aren't all just from this week. That's cool. I like that. This is really cool. I don't know what he used to make this website with, but it's sick. Anyway, sorry, that's probably got nothing to do with the initiative. But this guy, there's so much synchronicity with the stuff I've been rambling about, and even this guy. Do you guys see the synchronicity here? He's also kind of on the... It's the fight against impermanence. It's what it's all about. He's got a game list. Oh, this is so cool. Dude, this is what the internet is meant for, okay? This is what it's all about. I'm going to have to give this a proper browse later on, but I was just trying to find the website for the initiative. See, I'm surfing the web, guys. I'm surfing the web, like how we used to do back in the day. I'm discovering all sorts of stuff. Maybe, I don't know, what is the initiative called? Okay, it's literally just called Stop Killing Games. All right, I'm gonna give this a link if you guys want to check this out. It seems like it does need some help, so. But yeah, read about it though. Don't just sign because it's popular. Read about it and see if you actually agree. And if you do, great. I can't really do much personally because I'm not European. But oh wait, what's this mean? Oh, it's is it reached the signatures? Oh, cool. Oh, all right. Well, I don't know what that means. Is that good? I had an idea trying to use something like Mastodon system where it's decentralized, where each creator would have their own place and a main site would just act as a search directory. That does sound pretty cool. Because yeah, it's a shame that I had to find this through YouTube. I had to go through the sewage to find this guy's beautiful universe here. Because that's what this is. This is a home. This isn't a rented space. This is a home. Game list. He's even got his own little forums. Dude. See, like, I don't know, your soul resonates when you see this stuff. I don't know what it is, man. Anyway. But yeah, I've got a bit overtime this week. Sorry, fellows. But I guess I had a lot to say. So thanks for joining me for another progress update. Check out this guy's stuff as well, by the way. Very cool. And yeah, hopefully when my mission is done, I will have my own little website soon, just like Ross Scott here does. And we can help make the internet cooler. Because I don't know, it'd be cool to make the internet cool. So I really do appreciate the support and the encouragement. It's been a challenge, but I'm getting through it. Because then imagine following Project Feline in this type of universe, in this world where you aren't being bombarded by Bollywood videos all the time. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. I think it would. So that's the future I'm trying to build towards. And I really respect people that do that, like the what was the name of that game? The Bozone or something? Like those guys and Ross and all those people. It feels like that. I don't know if they would ever say it, but it feels like they get it. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to. That's the level we're trying to get to. So we gotta, because I don't know, man. I think if we keep relying on YouTube only, if we keep going this way where the only sites we visit are YouTube and Reddit, I don't know, man. I just, it's going to get worse. So we gotta diversify. We gotta make it great. So anyway, thanks for the support, for checking in on me this week. Hopefully I won't get food poisoning again, so I can make some more progress by next time. And that will give you plenty of time to do your homework and get an alarm clock like I keep telling you guys to. So, and I'm going to be checking this time, okay? I don't do these rants for no reason. You guys will do it. So next week, each and every one of you in chat right now, I'm going to be checking and I'm going to be marking you on how, if you don't do your homework, you're going to fail, okay? So you don't want to fail the class that you didn't sign up for. But you really should do it, though. You really should. But yeah, so hopefully by next week, I'll have some more progress and you will have an alarm clock and we will both be happy. So until then, I will see you next Friday.